she can't keep getting away with this.
Star-spangled man with a plan.
I ain't in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Who can't keep getting away with this, Jake?
What?
Who can't keep getting away with this, Jake?
Valentina. She
can't get away with anything.
She can't keep getting away with this, bro.
She can't get away with anything.
Dude, I have some thoughts of Valentina. Dude, I have some thoughts of Valentina at the end when we finally get to her. I'm like, what the heck were you expecting was going to happen? No, seriously.
She thought she was going to have control of a god.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's very obvious what she thought was going to happen.
What?
Jesus. I mean, yeah, just because you dress up like a mommy in front of this guy doesn't mean he's going to answer to you like you're his mommy or something.
It was worth the shot, and we had a kill switch. How was I supposed to know that my son...
Wait,
how was
I'll say, that wasn't even a kill switch. Remember, the kill switch, and she's like telling her assistant, "Go make another one." Then, like,
all I'm saying is, how was I supposed to know that?
Does that work that way?
How was I supposed to know that my Superman?
You can make another.
How was I supposed to know that my Superman science project also had a dark side that could also trap people in another dimension where all their fears and anxiousness was all surrounding them forever? Okay.
Yeah, look, Leia, to be fair, if you just regular powers, I feel like we could have got it.
There was a lot of extra stuff that I don't know how science produced, but we got it. Okay.
And
really
just saying, dude, you have a background information on who this Bob guy is, and he's not exactly the best of candidates to be handling the power of a million exploding suns, dude. You know?
But he's the only one that worked.
Yeah, that's what I say. You got to remember, there's a reason he was sealed away. She didn't know about him when he first woke up. That's how bad it was.
You guys said, I swear, guys, you said like it was reckless when Dr. Octopus in Spider-Man 2 decided to debut his nuclear fusion reactor in front of all those news reporters and that stuff. This is kind of like the equivalent, but even more destructive.
I didn't say
no. We're not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, her flaw is that she's short-sighted.
Yeah. I mean, like, you don't want to wait like at least a week, Valentine, to like, test out the kinks in this guy.
You gotta remember, her people experiment on this guy. She had no idea about it, and she was so surprised when she even met him.
Yeah.
And then with 5 minutes of reading his profile, he said, "Oh, this guy needs a mom in his life. I got this."
I watched The Boys. I know.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Supposed to be a parallel to The Boys with Homelander and Madam Sitwell from season 1, who was Homelander's mommy, and that's how she kept him in control until he killed her.
Yo. But
you
know what? Why don't we just go ahead and start, guys? It's time to strike like thunder.
That's not their thing. I'll get it wrong for no reason.
Well, we are here to talk about the Thunderbolts.
No. Say their catchphrase right.
So we're here to talk about the Thunderbolts and their or should we say spoiler? Well, don't we do a spoiler? Do we care? Do we care enough to do spoilers?
Yeah, we're spoiling. Yeah. First of all,
might as well.
It's justice like lightning. The Thunderbolt. First of all. Not this bullshit wherever he said. And yes, we are doing spoilers.
Okay. So instead of calling it Thunderbolt, we can just call it the New Avengers. Because that's what they are. Right?
We're not calling them that. They got sued for the name in the end. They're probably going to end up being West Coast or something.
No, they didn't get sued yet. Sam has to copyright it first. So he has to copyright it yet.
Yeah.
So to be fair, it should already be copyrighted. The Avengers itself. They can't still sue.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Sam could afford to pay for a copyright lawsuit on a fisherman's salary, right?
I'm sure he has Pepper Potts in his back pocket, bro. I'm sure,
that's one of the things Pepper Potts probably will help out. That is her husband's legacy.
Right. You would think she would want to help out in making sure the building that her late husband built with his blood, sweat, and tears would not be sold. But look what happened.
No, she didn't care
about that. I was about to say that the Avengers Tower is separated from Stark stuff. And she left all that to raise her kid. But that's different from actively like going to her house like, Pepper, please. Pepper, please. Help me copyright me.
All right. So, all right. Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, they're already So the asterisks, now we know what the asterisk means. They're the new Avengers. But how did this all start? It all started when Valentina was trying to make a sentry, thought she did make a sentry, and then had these people kill each other to try to cover up her.
Wait. That's not why she did that.
She was trying to cover up whatever project she was working on. She was working on some shit.
There you go. I'm about to at least talk about how the government was closing in on her. And she tried to cut all the ends. You made that like you made it sound like she tried to make a super soldier failed and then fucking just kill everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, while we're talking about her, you guys want to make her the first topic then?
Yeah. I somewhat like Valentina for what she is. I don't know if I'm like in love with the character. Like I don't like she's a character. I don't care if I see her again or if I don't. If I do or if I don't. I don't really care. So, she alright. I would call her like a stupid. Like she's like, I don't know. I don't know why her shit pisses me off. Less Amanda Waller. I feel like with Amanda, I expect more smartness out of her. But Valentina,
Amanda keep trying to put herself in a position where she should. Amanda's smart enough to put herself into these crazy positions and then somehow fumble.
Right.
Valentina was just literally taking advantage of everything that came her way and then to find a way to win. That's how she did it.
Right. So I'm not really it doesn't really piss me off in like the traditional sense, but I'm okay with her. I don't really. Yeah, I like that she's.
I guess a lot of people are swayed over by a lot of her snark and snass, So
yeah, I like that she's the answer.
I felt like John Walker was some of her sass, to be honest.
Yo, John had me John and Valentina sing together. That shit was funny. Oh, I'm sorry. Dime Store, Captain America, Walker.
Dude, don't even. Don't even. You want? Hey Jay, you want to reenact our U.S. agent and Bob scenario, man? Say it.
What's there?
I
wasn't sure what scenario you're talking about.
Oh no, I mean like the beginning where Bob. I'll wait for when we get to the John Walker topic. So
Valentina was interesting because every time we saw her, she was steadily trying to put like everything in her hands post Endgame. But every step of the way, something got in her way. Like even in Black Panther, she couldn't get the vibranium stuff she wanted, and that kind of messed up with her plan she had going on there because of the whole thing with Namor. So it's just funny to watch. Like every time she gets a plan going, something weird happens, and then she had to scramble to figure out something else. So I thought it was kind of funny. It was like, well, fuck, the government's on to me. I got to get rid of all my assets. And just the one place I sent them to go kill each other at, my strongest asset just happened to also be there.
Right.
She fumbles into success, bro. It's kind of funny.
Right. She fails upwards. That Valentina, you can't beat that.
Man.
That's why she's not as annoying as she could be. But I do think we have to start moving her out of the. I think that's why this movie ended the way it ended, with them saying we own you. Because we do have to start moving her to the side, and then we can bring her back later as a different threat later. Or we know going forward we can't have her right here right now.
Yeah, I'm not also entirely I know they give her a backstory. I'm not entirely sold on her. I think she's just a glory hog. It seems like, but I'm also not entirely sold. Her character doesn't, like I said, she's on screen. She doesn't grab me. I'm she's the person who gets the plot moving. But I was I don't really care. I don't know, like with Nick Fury is similar, where he's he gets the plot moving, but before recent years, I used to always like when he was on screen. You know what I mean? Oh, that's Nick Fury. Oh, motherfucking Nick Fury's here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Nick Fury is always going on the good side. This is the person that adding against us. I don't really think you should be excited to see her.
I mean, but you're excited to see Kingpin and Daredevil, right? You know what I mean? They're villains.
You're not.
Well, I'm not,
I'm
but
just-
but other
I'm just
people
a-
are.
I'm just a little curious. Like, are
You're saying
we ever really going to get an explanation as to why?
As to why what?
Can you hear me?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
As to why, as to why Valentine tricked Yelena into going to kill Hawkeye.
I don't even.
To be fair, it did feel like the only reason she did it was to try to further manipulate her under her thumb. My problem is, even after that failed, Yelena went back to her because she felt she had nothing else to do. That's my problem with it.
Yeah, I was like, why aren't you bringing this up?
If he got Yelena to kill Hawkeye, then Yelena would have literally nobody but like Rick Guardian. I'm sure after that she would have got rid of Rick Guardian somehow too. So Yelena would be solely focused on her, but she failed.
Yeah.
But the problem is, like, why did Yelena go back? Yeah, because I feel empty. I got regrets and stuff. They're trying to get you to kill your sister's best friend. That's my problem with it now.
I think we should also go into the Thunderbolts team as a whole before we go into individuals. As far as this team is concerned, that I like how they're just not a team. Like they're just not good. Like even from start to finish, they're like,
bro, they're the Avengers. They literally came together because some random threat, and now they're a team. They didn't get a choice.
I mean, like when you get to Avengers 1, when you get to the end, they're doing coordinated efforts. Captain America's like block off this place over here. Iron Man's leading the shit over to the Hulk so he can fight. Like when you get to the end of this movie,
we got that.
Well, you got like a small moment where which I'm not.
That was coordinated. That was coordinated.
I'm not shitting on them, but at the one moment where Lena and is throwing her daughter. I mean, not Red Guardian's throwing her daughter, throwing his daughter to the car and everything, and that's I think about the only time
I had that clip. That was so funny.
And this slab of rock, and that's about it. But they're not really like a team. There's never like a moment where I look at this team and I'm confident they can save me. If Loki showed up, I'm not looking at this team and I'm confident.
If Loki shows up, I got this team in five. I ain't gonna lie.
You think this team could do it?
If they put this team in the situation of Avengers 1, no. But if just Loki shows up, and it's 1v5, yes.
You think with enough gumption they can pull it off? Okay.
We saw that Steve Rogers can hang with Loki for a little bit. So now we have 3 of them about to go in here and get Loki to work.
I think if you put them in any Avengers scenario that even I'm thinking of the opening Avengers 2, could they do Avengers 2 the opening sequence?
They can definitely do the opening to Avengers 2. I don't think they can do any of the final battles.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the end of the movie, I don't think they can survive any of the final battles.
Right. That's what. So I look at this team and I'm like, and by the way, I don't hate that. I actually do like that because I think that so many movies like to do the thing like, oh, we're the scrappy underdogs, like I don't know if we can beat this guy. Like we're just a bunch of nobody. But then you see them fight and I'm like, oh no, you guys are fine. Like honestly, you just lock in, you're good. I like that this is a team where they actually. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say
rather than just you do it.
I was like, rather than have the team be like the Guardians of the Galaxy, where once they have their own focus, they are pretty much fine. It's more like from start to finish. There's always that. If Spider-Man wasn't in this universe, you'd be like, I don't know, are we gonna win this one? I really.
Oh yeah, I want to bring this up too. People stop asking where Spider-Man is. Y'all know why he can't be here and why he wasn't there. Stop asking where Spider-Man is. What did y'all think Spider-Man was going to do?
Yeah, I like that.
He would have accidentally swung into the void and then started crying and breaking down. All the shit he's been through. Spider-Man is the most useless hero here in this situation.
I swear, y'all should be asking, where's Kingpin in all this? Yeah, where's his Punisher force and all this?
I think
to be fair, because I thought a lot of people say stuff like that too. It's like, bro, this realistically the Center thing only took 5 minutes long. I like this thing. By the time they left Hell's Kitchen to get there, it was over.
my thing is, I think what would have been neat, and they don't have to have Spider-Man in the scene because I agree, Spider-Man can't do anything. But I think what would have been neat is if they cut to a scene of New York, because they showed New York getting engulfed. They showed a close shot. I like you saw a web just hanging off a building, but maybe you don't see Spider-Man. Just
to be fair, I don't know if Chris remember, but when Donny Cates first did his Thor run, and they had a show like the Justice League, and it was just them zooming off into the blackness. People kind of wanted that for Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Where you
I
see
think
like a red and blue swing,
Yeah.
and into the darkness.
I think the reason people ask for Spider-Man and not other characters just because he's always like around. You know what I mean? Like if you think about
but they say that, but the whole thing about his trilogy is that he's not always around.
Yeah, well, I'm saying like I think they just want him to swing like a little bit, just a little swing. All right, I think that'll be enough for people. I think. I don't know. Maybe if they want more, then they're stupid. But
it's just funny, bro. It's like we had a whole move from not in the town, bro. He might not just be around. He might not be here.
He might be in Europe. He might be
full time and not be in New York full time.
He might be in with Hugh Jackman and doing the Spider-Man Wolverine crossover. There you go.
Yeah, well, we know. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm asking about this man.
We got a comment, guys, from Ethan Cornet 13 saying, "You think Void would beat Thanos if he had all the stones?" Dude, if this was in the What If episode, hands down,
absolutely.
Thanos will get slaughtered.
Thanos gets
even if it wasn't, to be honest, because Thanos will have to like actively. Thanos will have to like counteract it as the power starts. If the power hits him, he wouldn't be able to use the stones because he'll be a shadow. Unless like the Void took in the gauntlet for some reason, which it shouldn't do in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But that would just be fucked. Looking at his family, his planet die again. Not understanding he had to overcome that drama the move to come out.
Yeah. I like it if like the Void makes Thanos a better man. Like comes out, he's like, I'm sorry.
But the thing is, though, they say he's stronger than all the Avengers. But realistically, because he couldn't actually kill anybody, there are like 8 Avengers I'll have like to beat him, to be honest.
8. You think Scarlet? I think you think
Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange, Thor. I don't think he's beating Thor.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen
Thor with the drama thing. Like Thor's gonna cry with his mom for a little bit, and he's gonna break out and leave.
I think my thing is when it comes to scaling, I need to see where you struggle with. Like people always like to say, like, oh, I see him. Look how he's no different people. Yeah, but also like at some point it needs to like who's making you bleed. You know what I mean? Like who's making you like tired. And we don't see that, so I can't say.
To be fair, the magic stuff is still just casually work on him.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta give him credit. Like he was unfazed by a vibranium punch to the face. So I mean, that's about
Captain America's done. Steve ain't doing shit. So, I think. You know what? I lost it. I lost it. Now it's too late. But yeah, as far as this group goes, I like how this functional, but in like a proper way, in a way that makes sense for who they are. I like they don't even have the traditionals. They don't even have like
they tried to run. I thought that was really
that was really like no, we're good.
What do you mean like a destroy the world, bro? We can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what people were expecting this team to do once they realized, we gave Sentry all our best shots and nothing, dude.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, okay, so like everybody keeps talking about Spider-Man and like Kingpin, all that. I'm like, bro, where are the sorcerers at? Like, I mean, like, I know they said magical.
Well, stop breaking. No. That's the last people you asked about. They won't interfere unless it's magical. The Void's not magical.
Like, what the fuck is the Void? Like, I don't like if I look. I know he's science, but like if I'm looking at the window, I'm like, bro, is that some magic shit? Like, how do I know that's?
You make it sense. Magic. They don't know it's magic.
Oh, they're gonna be like, okay, well, I guess the world's over. Fuck you. I guess.
No. Until it started affecting their sanctum, they're not going to do anything. Remember the Ancient One in Avengers 1? What she did, she stood there on the sanctum and protected the sanctum. That's it.
Is Green Witch not? Is Green Witch is near Avengers Tower? Is it not?
No.
She was in view of the Battle of New York. Wasn't that near Avengers Tower?
The Battle of New York. She was in New York, but she was not near the Avengers Tower. New York.
Where's the sanctum? Where's the sanctum in relation to Avengers? Because she was in the Battle.
Is in New York. Yes, that's right.
No, it's in New York. I'm saying it's not right next to Avengers Tower.
Well, no. I'm saying right next to it.
If you look at the Spider-Man game map, which is probably the most accurate we can get, they're both on each different side of town.
Oh, so opposite. Oh, that was a long-reaching battle. Holy shit!
That's why they had. That's what Cap had the cops try to like round off the civilian situation so they can lock all the aliens in one area. Once that the fight fully got going.
All right. But that was my like. I was like, where are the sorcerers at, bro? This.
They're there, but the sorcerers are never going to do that. That's the one thing they told us verbatim. If it ain't magical, don't call us.
But my children are dying.
Even if it is magical, you better hope you can call us for real, because if you don't call it, we won't show up.
I'm just saying, Dante would have shown up, bro. Devil May Cry Dante would have shown up, bro. For humanity, bro. Okay.
Gotcha.
Not the anime one.
Well, no, not him. No, fuck that guy.
Gotcha.
But
now that we talked about the team dynamics, you guys want to move on to each character individually?
Yeah.
I did want to. I guess before we get in, I guess we should say our overall thoughts before we get into the movie itself. We did go over like center. We did kind of cheat a little bit, but what do you guys think overall before we go into the individuals?
I gave it like 8. I enjoyed it a lot.
For me, you guys know. Yeah. Gotcha. I mean, for me, you guys know I made repeated comments that I was not going to watch this movie because of the sense I had that they were going to do to John what they've been doing in the comics for the past couple of years now. But hey, good word of mouth, and yes, some encouragement from my nephews who are John Walker fans. I want to add, yeah, they pressured me into watching the movie, and ended up coming out satisfied. So yeah, it was on the positive side, audience. So
I want you to know, Jake. He puts his nephews, who's a John Walker fan, over your opinion, who's a bigger John Walker fan.
That's true. I'm a bigger MCU John Walker fan than your nephews, bro. I live and breathe by this man. Okay, he's my glorious king. How dare you? Anyway, but as an MCU John Walker connoisseur, I've been his homie since day one. Okay, now what did I think of this movie? I think 10% more John Walker could have been an 8. I actually don't even fair. 10% more. Everyone, I just every time I sit back on it, I think it's too much Yelena.
My problem is I don't feel like the only thing you can add, like if you say 10%, I think the only thing you could have added were probably like their drama scenes. But I also feel like it would have dragged out the message a little bit too much. Like, I don't know how you reliably do it safely.
The director wanted to do that. We had they came out to do some interviews. They wanted to do the different trauma rooms. That was something he really wanted to push for. But then the writing team was like, no, because we kind of want to make it more like about this section, more about Bob, to really build up to the like moment where we do have to say
fair, if they did Bucky, I would have been pissed. I'm so
Bucky doesn't do
that. Bucky, Ava, and realistically, we already had Ava's too in Ant-Man versus Ant-Man Wasp.
That was years ago. I don't think people remember that though.
No, I'm saying we had it though.
Right. Yeah. I think it's like Bucky's every time he shows up, we're constantly reminded of his trauma. I'm okay with that. But it's like I would have like now that John has accepted that shit is his fault, it would have been nice to see like how does he reflect on it now? Like now that he can see it from like his angle.
I think we should have got a scene with him calling his wife.
Yeah.
At the end, yeah, I agree.
I feel like the Avengers reveal and stuff. I think we should have seen him with his wife.
Yeah, I think. But I think it's Yelena and Red. Well, like Yelena led to a fall, and they did say beforehand this is basically a Black Widow sequel, and I see it.
Also, shout out to this director, bro. It's hard to believe it's the same thing for Black Widow.
Yeah, no, really step up.
Well, let's just say
killed off his own baby at the beginning of this film. I was very proud of this person, bro.
Let's just say he was cleaning up the mess they made in the first. They acknowledged there was a certain mistake in the first Black Widow film that they quickly fixed in the beginning of this film. But we'll get to that character when we get to her. So
I think overall, I think my thing is like, and I have to say this. I'm going to get to discretion because this is not even the movie's fault. But this is why these movies are hard to land with me. When movies about depression are hard to land with me because it's the same message over and over again. It doesn't really address the real issue with depression that a lot of people feel. Like, I get everyone wants to be like, oh, when you're lonely, you have to remember that there are people around you. But like, I've heard that 1,000 times. There are people out there who are just lonely and don't have anyone. And then there's no message for those people. And I feel like I would like
the message was learn to get with people, nigga.
Right, but like, what if you can't? You know what I mean? That's why I kind of like the small movies. The small movies are like an example. I mean, it's a bad ending to be fair, but like the small movies are an example of like, yeah, I thought I had people in my life, but when I break it down and I really think about it, I am alone. You know what I mean? And like
Mhm.
that's horrifying. And that's why those work as like horror movies for me.
Mhm.
But I would like a movie that talks about like how do you break free from that when you don't have those connections? Because at the end of the day, when you break it down, the only reason that the Thunderbolts even are with Sentry to begin with is because of an extraordinary circumstance. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it's not even because Sentry is who he is, it's because of like the powers he has. That's like the reason they get stuck with him. And they have no interest in him until they figure out who he is. And I think that's kind of like, ugh. But people,
Well,
people
to be fair, Yelena did have interest in him
right.
before she knew who she was. She was actually trying to keep him with him and keep him alive. He ran out the car and sacrificed himself, and he left.
Right. But I also have to question: would it have been enough for her to? And maybe it would have. I'm not saying that it wouldn't. Would it have been enough if they have just gone off happy ever after and they never found out about the Sentry stuff? Would she have still been with him, or would it have been like, okay, well, see you later? You know what I mean? Like that's.
Well, to be fair, they didn't know he was a oppressor or anything back then. They was just
Right.
So they're doing duty, keep him alive, take him to safety. They don't owe him any obligation besides that, unless unless that car rides like one of those NBC road trip movies that we just missed all screen.
Right, but even that, and like I said, that's honorable. But it's like when he goes up, well, eventually, if they do have to leave him by himself, then he's gonna have to deal with those problems still. I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot more nuances to the topic of depression and loneliness that a lot of media really goes into because the answer is always just like, well, find people in your life and they'll help you out. It's like, but there's a lot more to it, and it's not this movie's fault. I'm just saying that's why it can't connect with me on that level because I've seen this so many times. I'm kind of numb to the message by this point. So other than that, it's a solid movie. I give it a 7.5, so maybe 7.
Cool.
But yeah.
Which
All right,
what's up, Austin? Hey, what's up, man?
No, what's up? What? He's scared the mess out of me.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But anyway, I guess with that, you guys want to talk about each individual character now?
Yeah, we go on that. I also want to bring up this is like the biggest MCU troll movie. This movie I feel like lives to troll people. Like I feel like in a funny way.
Why?
It was like first with the Taskmaster thing, which we'll get into, which was like everybody the whole time was like, "How's Taskmaster gonna die?" Oh, no. And then we'll get into it. When we get there. And I'm okay.
Troll though. I like Critter said. I just getting it out.
Okay,
the way
I'm back. I'm back. Yeah. Sorry, I'm in a different location, audience. So I'm in a different location, audience. So yeah, signal's hazy.
Yeah.
All right.
That was good poster.
Okay. So yeah, we're talking about John Walker, audience.
Why are you like in a Godzilla film?
I know, right?
Yeah, it's almost like the actor was in a Godzilla related film, right, Austin? No?
What? About a TV show.
I don't know how I feel about John. I feel like there's some things that I like his character, like the dialogue between dialogue. I like his character. I like how again we're keeping in line that like he is a bit off ever since he got the super soldier serums because he's just more of like what was kind of hidden within him. So I do like that. That's still very much his character. Because we did see in Falcon and Winter Soldier for him to like make certain decisions, it takes a lot more out of him than it used to because of what the serum did to him. So this is a John Walker that doesn't have a battle star or anything with him, so he's just kind of like not as like morally effective as he should be. I do think he should have been taken a little more charge of the team because again, this is just my perception of Falcon and Winter Soldier. He does still think he's Captain America. Like not Steve. I still think he really does think he's Captain America. I think that even if
audience get rid of the idea of him being Captain America because long before he ever was that, he was a decorated military soldier, which is something I'm glad even in this movie they touched upon. He referenced, I've done countless rescue ops in my time in the military. I've been in a whole bunch of places around the world performing these sorts of situations,
Yeah.
So
that's why I would argue he held on to more than the quote unquote being Captain America thing. I know he got mad at it one time, but earlier in the film, like there was stuff when he was talking about how like Valentina, why he didn't believe that Valentina would get rid of him, is mainly because of how successful he was as a soldier.
Yeah, I think as far as like someone, well, I guess we're in a roundabout way we come to the same conclusion anyway, so I guess there's no really reason to go into that. But I guess to me it was more like I kind of would have liked a little bit more of like him trying to take more of a charge, because I do agree with him when he said. I think that's one of the things I did like about the movie, the neat details, how all the characters found value in each other, and I did like that Yelena did realize that, like, oh, John does know a little bit what he's talking about. Like when he in that scene that we just talked about, where he does say all that, and then she's like, anyway, I'm taking charge, whatever, and she says that we're going to use a bomb, and John says, don't use a bomb, it's too unpredictable, you don't know what's going to happen. He's like, whatever, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. And then he winds up being right. You know what I mean? Those moments I do like. I wish that we just got to see a little bit more of like leadership, tactical John. Again,
we did though. The problem is once we got to Century, there's literally nothing they could do.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's why I don't understand like this criticism.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if the movie was rewritten in a different way, I would like to just see 10% more of just like a tactical. 10% more. That's really all I'm asking for. The movie is written in a way that makes sense, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's what I'm saying. It's like for instance, the Man of Steel situation. People will argue with you that Superman had to snap Zod's neck. Fine, but it doesn't have to be written that way. He didn't have to come to that conclusion.
Yeah, but like we're trying to judge the movie as it is, not what we wanted to be, what it could have been by making up scenes that could have been.
I'm not judging. I'm saying that I'm not judging the movie by what I want it to be. I'm saying that, like, because I don't feel these characters have all the things they need to be 100%, this is a way that they could have fixed it. That's what I'm saying.
I understand that. Now, my point is, I think he did get those scenes.
Okay,
like when they were back in the thing, and he took charge to save their lives.
If that's how you feel,
that's one thing I wanted to bring up. Right? Yes, John Walker's character, audience. Yes, there is a bit of a holish nature to his character, but I like in this movie it comes with a reason, right? Like the scene Austin was referring to when they were all trying to get out of that tunnel. You know, they all had to lock arms with each other and walk up the tunnel, right at the moment where, you know, Bob was about to sneeze and potentially knock all of them back down, John had to quickly react and you know, let go of all of them to grab onto the tip of to the end of the tunnel, and he did that to ensure their safety. Because as he states, yeah, I prioritized my safety in order to guarantee the safety of all you. You know, like there you go, yeah. That was
probably the most John moment this movie had, to be honest, because it reminds me of how he had it in Force Works in 2020.
There you go,
where the whole team hated him. But he was just doing his best to make sure everyone stayed alive in their mission. And even in the end, he did not betray them like they thought he would to the government.
Exactly, you know. I mean, screw with how his teammates felt in that scene. They're alive. They're out of the tunnel, like, you know. So yeah. Another thing I wanted to bring up about John, right? I was based on trailers I've seen, right? Audience, to me, I'm probably the number one U.S. agent fan out there, and seeing all those trailers, like with the bench shield, with people dissing John, this and that, I kind of felt like what Transformers fans felt when they saw that first trailer to Transformers 1, you know, the really goofy one. So yeah, I was really hesitant about what they were going to do with him here, but hey, we got to see those scenes and we got to see them be elaborate a little bit more. Like one scene I want to bring up was, you know, when Ghost made that comment about, like, you know, John you know, killing an innocent man. Dude, in the theater I shouted bullshit.
I was like, come on,
yeah, I was mad about audience. Audience. I was that person in the audience with the John Walker Captain America shirt on and the Captain America hat, and I shouted bullshit to a Ghost. Everybody heard me. I didn't care. And then John did something that I'm proud of that he did, that I wish he could do more in the comics. He actually talked back, saying, define innocence.
He kept his cool and defended himself.
Yeah, because I was like, there ain't no way you thought that dude was innocent. I'm not saying like he should have killed him, but come on, like that dude was.
Yeah, I mean,
to be fair, Ava wasn't there, so for point of view, you probably just saw a clip of this guy surrendering, getting beheaded. Okay,
but no, I don't even want to get her out of that situation, because audience, is anybody still holding that against John for killing that flag smasher when 2 days later that same group went and publicly stated on national TV, had it all recorded on everything, of them trying to kill all those senators in a car bomb?
Yes, because the problem wasn't that he killed a terrorist. The problem was that he beheaded a surrendering dude in front of thousands of people.
I would think like a lot of those people. Okay, maybe there is a reason why John did what he did, and when they learned, his partner got kidnapped and murdered by this group. Okay, now we're starting to understand what happened in this scenario. You know,
I'm sure there'll be
No,
justification for it.
the
but
problem wasn't, like I said, the problem is that do you think Steve Rogers in that same situation did the same thing?
Mhm. Well, if you're
And
talking
you
about
can honestly
comics
tell
and
me
the
you think that
MCU,
if they got to put his hands up, Steve would have beheaded him in front of everybody if Bucky died. I don't
Mhm.
believe it. That's the
well,
only
it
problem people have.
it had. Well, if you're talking about between the MCU or in the comics, Austin.
I know in MCU. In the comics, I know. I know in the comics. But in MCU,
He did that before.
people were trying to hold him to this like even like the show was doing. John Walker's problem wasn't that John Walker was a bad character. It was that people was trying to hold him to the same standard as Steve, even though he was not Steve Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
So they couldn't forgive him for doing something that Steve would not do. At least what is something they think Steve would not do.
Yeah, but
Like
at
you said,
least
as a soldier, he did the right thing. As a Captain America, he should not did that in front of all those people. That's all the fault.
Yeah, but like another thing, I feel like the movies need to address, right, is it feels like a heavily one-sided argument, right? Like everybody in the whole world seems to be unanimous that what John did was horrible, that that character was innocent, that the person he beheaded. I mean, I'm pretty sure most people don't even remember his name at this point. But yeah, there would be a group of people who would be defending John, his character. I mean, for God's sake,
Realistically, yeah.
the people that John has saved in his time in the military. I would definitely like to see a scene where all of them come out and give a response, like as who John is, that they're alive thanks to the actions of John Walker. You know, I mean,
So you wanted the Punisher court case where he had like the general and all the other people come in to give their takes on who Frank Castle was
you know,
before he
I would.
threw himself over.
You know what? I would actually like that scene. You know, pretty much. But
Yeah, that would have been fine if they added it to the scene before he got to. I understand that. Well, that moment.
yeah, you know. Okay, we all understand what ended up happening, and audience, like, based on what I've seen from military people, right? Again, the only reason John got punished was just for a PR related reasoning. Basically, those senators were all trying to save their ass, and
No, if he did it and not as Captain America, I think it would have been perfectly fine.
yeah, you know. So yeah, there's that. Another scene I did like though. This was in the trailer, right? It was a little odd when you see John Walker. He's trying to stab Yelena, and yet she's somehow blocking him and holding him back.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking,
Well, okay. Well, to be,
They fixed that in the movie. In the trailer,
yes,
you don't see her shock gauntlets on, but in the movie,
Mhm.
fully see her shock gauntlets on, which is stopping him.
Yeah, she's using both her shock collars to, tase John. That's why he's stopping midway. But no, he's forcing his way through. You know.
Yeah, in the
So,
trailer, it looked like she was just literally somehow overpowering him and not
yeah,
letting him slam down.
yeah.
but they still ever since the Black Widow movie, I still don't know what like Black Widow is. Like, is she a super soldier or is she just like a normal person? Like, it's
I
never
know,
really like
that's
defined.
Why? She did not do anything in this movie that'll be superhuman.
I'm talking about how the other one that used to be Black Widow fell for like a
Taskmaster, what did have super soldier serum? Yeah.
Black Widow, Natasha.
No, that's it. Taskmaster.
I saw about Natasha.
I think that was. I think Taskmaster was more of the armor of anything. Like yeah.
Oh well,
all the
Black
bulk
Widow.
has to compensate
Natasha
for
is a
something.
regular person. She just had higher pain tolerance.
Yeah. I mean, still, just doing a full-on final battle sequence while skydiving, though. I mean, come on. You really have to
To
do a
be
lot.
fair, James Bond do it all the time.
But he has gadgets. I'm just kidding. No,
Nope.
We got to give a woman a benefit of doubt for that.
Okay.
I thought Taskmaster had powers at first because I'll say we'll get to it, but she punches somebody, they get them flying. What the fuck?
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, also another thing I like about this depiction of John right here is, yeah, they do demonstrate, his physicality in his serum. Like, I mean, there were some moments there where, yeah,
He does not lose until Century, like at all.
Yeah,
he gets the better every like situation he's in until someone jumps in.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, did you see the way he jumped? He jumped on that tunnel. Man, he jumped like 50 feet in the air, man. I'm like, dang. Wow, I don't think even Steve could do that. Oh, another thing I like, right? I'm pretty sure John is the type of person that kind of would self-torture himself by looking at all the negative press that surrounded him, you know, reading all the hateful comments and this and that, which is kind of why like I like that scene where, you know, Bob is like, you know, laughing and telling John, you were Captain America, you're an asshole. And then John just smirks a bit and just goes and grabs him by the neck and brings him up. I'm like, yeah. It's a lot easier and funner to be saying that behind a keyboard, audience. You know, try saying that to John's face and see what happens. You know,
but he was indeed an asshole, so Bob wasn't wrong.
Yeah, an asshole that's that's in an intense situation right now after he was
Well, that's fair,
killed.
but he's still an asshole.
Yeah.
He was not wrong.
A justifiable asshole. Yeah, you try saying that to John's face and see what happens. You know, that's what I'm trying to say.
If he freaked out on you because you call him an asshole, that just makes him even more not like Captain America.
Mm-hmm. But now he's the route U.S. agent goes in the comics audience.
Yeah, I think this movie really helps him like move on to his own. I don't think people still gonna call him the Captain America clone going forward. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he has his own way of serving the country that he loves, audience, and it's not the way Captain America should be seen doing. That's the route every writer should have when writing John Walker, you know. So yeah, let's see what else. I did like that he was able to fetch that cactus fruit for everybody, because again, that goes back to his training in the military.
Yeah, that's always the military did.
Yeah, he would know what surrounding fruit, what surrounding plants around the area are edible, you know, because he has training. Who knows how much training he's had all around the world, you know? Let's see, I'm trying to think. Is there anything else? I want to save my comments on the shield for when we get to the end credit scene, because yeah, there's stuff I won't delve into that. So, anything else?
I will say I do like his final outfit. I hope he keeps it. With they changed his final U.S. agent outfit a little bit in the end. And they also gave him like the hat.
I thought it was just the hat. Like I looked at his suit and I'm like, wait, why is he the only one here who didn't get a new suit?
No, it's you like look at the picture here. They kind of moved like some of the unnecessary lines on like the shoulders and stuff.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I just only watched it.
But it was a drastic change. It just looks a little bit better.
But you know, compared to every other member of the team, yeah, they had like that drastic different costume. That was kind of like a little odd.
I think it's because he's the one who didn't need to change the most. He's just like. Yeah. To be fair, he probably turned it down too. To be honest,
probably. I mean, like I had a suggestion for if they want, since they were going to give everybody a new costume, right? I kind of thought like, you know, he had in the comics recently on it, he has this other costume from his American Zealous run. Let me bring it up. There you go. I mean, I thought that could have been one costume he could have used to go along with the others.
I wanted them to say that. I wanted to say that to the next film, like the post Doomsday stuff.
Yeah. Are we getting another Thunderbolts really though?
No, they're gonna be the new Avengers. I like I said, when we get to the ending, I'll talk about it. What I think was going
okay, gotcha.
But I have a whole mental game in my head, bro.
Gotcha. So okay.
To be fair, I do hope he gets that shield though.
Yeah,
they should with him being an official Avenger and stuff. Like you said, we'll talk about when we get there. He should get that shield.
Yes, definitely. So, all right then. I guess with that, you guys have any final thoughts on John Walker before we move on to the next character?
I don't know.
No. Although Jake, I wasn't trying to like attack your opinion or anything earlier. I was trying to understand what you mean by 10% more, because we got 3 scenes of him doing it. I just don't know how you like how. I don't understand how that's not enough. I don't understand how one more.
What I like about him and Falcon and Winter Soldier is like I like that like even building up to it, you get like, and I know it's not a show. That's like also the other problem. It's like it's just again, it's he just shared the space with, like 4 other people. I like that there's like 2 different parts of John. I like his character when the plot is not focusing on him, and I like the emotional aspects of Walker. But those same things I like about Walker while they're here is just not like it's not a lot to chew compared to what Yelena gets, which is like fine. Like I always, like I said, I compared this to Guardians of the Galaxy because it's true. Like Guardians had such like a good way of like making everyone have an equal amount, even though it's Quill's movie. Everyone has like an equal amount of like emotional resonance. There's like enough scenes for everyone where you're like, oh damn, like I remember the scene where like Drax has to like get his head out of the gutter and realize like, oh shit, wait, like I can't just be like this selfish asshole if I'm going to work with this team, or like Rocket has to turn the ship around and be like, oh damn, I really do care about these people enough to risk my life to save them from the Ravagers, or like, you know, Quill saving Gamora and all that other stuff. Like there's like multiple scenes where these characters, there's like identifiable scene where I'm like, okay, this is why this character matters on an emotional level. And when I watch this movie, it's like they have things that make me care about them, but they're missing that, like, except for Yelena, they're missing that like cap off to end their journeys. Like all of them are, I feel, except for Yelena or Red Guardian. I think Red Guardian.
I guess we should bring this up too with John too before we move on. Go ahead, Chris. Say what you're gonna say. Then I'll bring it up.
Oh no, you go ahead, Austin.
Because I feel like we kind of got that with him, and his wife, and you saw him try to cope and keep the whole movie. He was trying to cope and act like he was this all put together guy, only for them to casually reveal that no, bro, your wife left you because you couldn't let go of the past.
Right, and I would have liked just to see just like one scene just talking about it, or at least again that would have been solved if they kept in the scene that the director wanted. But I understand, like, narratively speaking, it just doesn't work.
But that's why like they did talk about it, because like you see Lee Landon like react to hearing that, but they don't give him shit for lying about it. Right. So I kind of respected the situation.
Gotcha. Jake, what was that scene you were referring to that they wanted to add?
They wanted everyone to get their drama dump scene in the void.
Yeah. But the director said, like the writer said, it should have been more focused on Bob because it's showing the descent to where he is. And I agree. I think like narrative wise, like even when I watched the movie, I didn't like it, but I understood for the purposes of making the movie coherent. And
I think they should have just filmed it and then just had to be a deleted scene. And like, well, it's in the like it counts if you want to count.
Right.
Alright. So okay then. Any final thoughts for you all, guys?
Well, that's it.
All right. So I guess we might as well talk about
that. Is not a Thunderbolt.
I think Yelena in this movie. I still walk away from this movie. I just don't care about Yelena as much as other people. I think she's a cool character. I just don't care about as much as other people. I was like, hey,
wait. So no one else in this movie had enough of the emotional beats for you to latch onto. But even the one who had those emotional beats you didn't care about?
Yeah, Yelena's never, I guess because like there's just too many things working against her leading up into the movie. Like I thought she was like okay in Black Widow. I thought by the time I got to Hawkeye, she was really getting on my fucking nerves. And this movie, it did a lot of groundwork to get me back to where I was before with her. So it was really, I guess more like she started at a disadvantage for me, and then she had to work her way back up to
we had the opposite thing then.
Yeah.
I hated her in Black Widow, and I hated her more in Hawkeye. And this movie won me over completely.
I think for me it was more like it's just like I mean like the daddy like I'm so alone scene is great, and I do like her relationship with Bob, but again I was like it was something about her. It's like I don't mind seeing her again, but I'm not excited to see her again. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I am right now. You know,
she did all her own. She did all her own stuff. She did Tom Cruise and put all her own stuff.
But did she hold on to a plane? Did she hold on to a plane? Well. On the wing of a plane,
she jumped off the second tallest tower in the world.
Okay, but like Tom Cruise drove down a mountain and then drove off into a train. Okay, like I'm just saying, bro. Like,
okay. So you want Florence Pugh to outperform Tom Cruise, is what you're telling me.
That's what I'm saying.
You
remember that scene in the void with you flipping over all the like deaths and stuff? She had actually do flips.
Yeah, but like Tom Cruise again, the stunt scene with the helicopter. Tom Cruise climbing a mountain, bro. Come on now, I'm just saying, get on my boy Cruise. But no, I don't. I think she's fine. I think this. Like I said, I think she won me back to where she was before. There's just like, and there's nothing really wrong with her arc. I really like her arc. I think also it's like. I somewhat don't agree with her being the leader, but only because I really think John should be the leader. Well, should have been the role, and then she should have been the second in command. But like,
I don't think John should have been the leader. I think making him the leader automatically would have not have been a good outcome. I think if he becomes the leader at the next film, I think that'd been fine.
I think it would have been cool if he was
audience. We gotta remember, like the second we saw like the picture of the roster of the team, right? Automatically, if you look at that, you would assume Bucky will be the leader of this.
Or maybe
realistically, well, to be fair, Bucky is the leader of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so realistically, Yelena would probably have to be like the third option to be the leader of this team.
Bucky is the de facto leader of this team.
I never saw him as the leader. I mean, like he does get the team to like go to one place, but like he's not really like Yelena's the one that makes the decision that gets everybody on board. Like she's the one that goes in the void and everyone follows her lead. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like I never saw
but that doesn't matter.
I guess it's just like
on paper, Bucky is the leader, like officially.
Right. Yeah, visually. I was gonna say, like, even if we were gonna make Yelena like the real, like, the leader, well, like, again, I just see her as leader. I would at least have like John like try to be maybe Yelena like a co-leadership kind of thing, like a Batman Superman type thing, I guess. You know what it's like you know what I mean? Like that's kind of where I would have put it.
I mean, look, realistically, I would think you would want to get the person who has the most experience of leading a team, which realistically would be John, like who would have that over Bucky, considering, you know, most of Bucky's time, you know, he was a follower of Captain America, and a one man show when he was in Hydra. Kind of same thing with Yelena, who was a Black Widow, and you know they were just one person agents, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but just because you have the most experience doesn't automatically mean you should be the leader. They're also natural born leaders, so people who step up to be leader in those situations or moments. I don't think John coming back from his whole situation with depression and all the losing his family and stuff should automatically have been the leader of this team. I think he could become the leader of this team. But then again, if this becomes the Avengers, then Sam will be the leader. So it doesn't matter anyway.
I don't think I'm making my point. I'm not saying that like John would be like the perfect. I'm saying that he would take charge because naturally he thinks he can. Maybe I shouldn't have that. I think he naturally. I think
if the movie did that, I think it would have pushed him back to being unlikable for a lot of people.
Well, maybe, but I just think it's more of in his character to me. But
after seeing some reviews from other people, right, they seem to enjoy being enjoy the unlikableness of John Walker. So. He does have a nice spot for a lot of people, apparently, even those that hate him.
I think if this ends up like the next movie, he ends up taking that leadership role, or say like each move of this one focuses more on someone else, so that was more John's film. I think that natural turn to that from this film will work better than just him doing that in this film.
Maybe. Right. I just know that as far as the Elena's concerned, like I said, I like her arc enough. It was more just an extension of Black Widow. It was basically like if Black Widow, the first movie, was about her, because these are things that we saw in the first movie, but we never. It was more like Natasha reconnecting with her and not like Yelena the other way around. So like, you know, it is a good sequel for her. It pushes her forward. I just like at the end of the day, it's just like if I see her again, I'll be like Yelena. But if I don't, I'm not gonna really care. So
you hate her, bro.
No, that's what it is.
Well, of all the characters that have replaced the previous Avengers, it seems like Yelena's like one of those replacement characters that stuck a real good chord with most of the audience.
I'm sorry.
You know?
I'm sorry, Crypto. One thing. People say that like, oh, finally a Black Widow with character development. Like, bro, like Captain America too. Like, even if you like Yelena more than Natasha, I'm okay with that. Please. Remember, Natasha did get development in the original phases, please. I'm sorry.
The development you're talking about her just becoming friends with Steve.
Her arc of like trusting people more and even being more open to relationships with like people like Bruce Banner or trying.
She didn't really trust him though. She didn't tell about her family.
Yeah, well, but that's just writing. That's bad writing. But before even her being open with like Bruce with like a relationship.
Don't worry, Avengers. The only family I ever has been you guys. Isn't that right, Yelena? Who? What?
That's why I shouldn't give a fuck about Yelena, though. Okay, that's really Yelena. It's Yelena's dumbass.
But that movie really said a lot. That's my problem with the Natasha thing. Right. They do all that. All her arc is supposed to be her trusting and believing the Avengers this big family thing for her, even though the Avengers never felt like a family.
No, they have never.
Only
No.
for them to reveal that not only is that a lie, both of those things were lies for her,
Right.
regardless how she feels about it.
I'm not mad at people who say I like Yelena's arc more. I'm just like I just get mad when people like she didn't have an arc. I'm like, well, she did. If you don't like it, fine. It's just like it's like discrediting what that was. So,
No, we discredit women here.
oh, okay, well, but
Gotcha.
Think about it. She went out her way to get the blonde to try to be half the woman that Yelena was.
that is true. I mean, that is riding on your sister a little bit. I'm just saying.
Oh, did you guys kind of notice that like they seem to have tried paralleling, you know, Natasha's relation with Hulk in this situation being Yelena's relationship with Sentry?
He's a monster.
I liked it here because I liked it more here because Sentry Bob actually like fully needed that connection. With Bruce, it always feels like with Bruce, it feels like he pushes people away himself.
Yeah.
He compared to Bob, who actually was like reaching out and just had nobody to latch on to. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Gotcha. Plus, you know, we have like established like family of Hulk, you know, and all his love interests of the past. So you know,
I think it works too.
To be fair, we had a lot more Hulk history that we know they were throwing that away for that relationship too that pissing people off.
As far as Sentry and Yelena's love life, very up in the air. I mean, as far as I'm aware, the only relationship I'm familiar with Sentry is with him and Crystal that one time, but that's it.
And he used to have a wife.
Oh, there's that too, you know. So
and Yelena in the comments is Arrow is, so it's like she doesn't sexually like anyone. Usually, it was my understanding. But I would have thought we were having a relationship. She just never had one, from my understanding.
Gotcha.
I think as far as like I like her character enough. I do like how her slow realization of like appreciating these characters more than she thought. I do I do also appreciate as silly as that scene was, that's laugh out loud as that scene was. I do like how she perfectly understood the Taskmaster. She didn't hold that against anybody. She was like, yeah, okay, well, it is what it is.
Let's save that for when we get to Taskmaster. I got so much roasting. Wink to that.
I thought it was funny how she was she was so embarrassed for Red Guardian, but I was like, he'd actually save your life right now.
Right.
Like I get it, but I get it's your dad. Like, but you're not like a teenage girl anymore. He's actually saving your life. Like, just be like a little less bitch about it.
He's literally the last part of your good memories left out there. Oh wait, what happened to the mother? I forgot.
She betrayed him and left.
Yeah, she wasn't
okay.
Really I do like her relationship with Bob mainly because like I like how they're naturally both reaching out to each other. I mean, like Yelena is trying to keep her guard up, obviously, because she's just like a random guy she doesn't know. But like also she's like, well, yeah, like there's this guy, he's going through some hard shit. I'm going through some hard shit. You know, that's kind of cool. And then that evolves to her like caring more. I think that was pretty well written. I did believe their relationship. But yeah, you know, that's what it is.
Yeah. So cool. So, all right then. You guys want to move on to the next character?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this is actually my favorite character in the movie because she had the most iconic scene. When I say 10% more, I want what Taskmaster brought to the movie 10% more than she did the last time.
Hey, audience. Taskmaster is a staple character who demonstrates not all characters need a second shot. Sometimes they just need one. Oh my god!
I'm not gonna lie to you. When they just killed Taskmaster, I was floored, bro. I was like,
in the most ungrateful way possible.
I know. There was no music. There was no build. There was no sting. It was just like a pop. Oh,
like dude, in the midst of that fight, when Taskmaster, revealed her face, right? Did you guys get the sense that was that actually the actress, or did they just kind of reuse some footage from the Black Widow movie? Because I don't even think the actors would want to go through all that makeup process just for what a 10-second clip. Like, really?
It's not a long makeup process. It's just literally just her face.
I get. yeah, there's that, but still,
Well,
you
I mean, she
know.
does have to she naturally does have to put up makeup, but it probably wasn't as much
Yeah.
as like say like Mystique or something, you know.
And don't forget, they got like they had to film all the fake scenes too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or they could have just
So,
Iron Manned it. They could have Iron Manned it, but we know what they did.
yeah, audience. This is an indication that Marvel realized they kind of screwed up a lot with Taskmaster and the Black Widow film. Again, an ungraceful end, and audience, there's no to add more insult to injury about this, right? Not only does she get shot point blank in the head, you see the bullet pass her head, you see the hole in her head, you see blood spilling out through her head. Not only does that happen, but keep in mind, her body literally gets incinerated in this
That's like,
film.
and that's after they loot her corpse.
Yes.
Like the fucking vultures. I was like, Jesus Christ, do you hate
Yeah,
y'all?
but I don't see this as some troll moment or anything. I death had to happen this early to show you the stakes, especially when no one else was going to die.
Dude, I saw
That
And
could happen.
it happening so fast and so unceremoniously, I think added a lot to the film. Compared to them, like one, if they acted like you cared about this character, I think that would have been more insulting. If anything.
Yeah. Austin, I like how the director came out and responded to say what you were saying. Like, he wanted to do something that was surprising to the fans, this and that, so by killing off Taskmaster. But dude, anybody who was watching the trailers, this was no surprise that she was going to get killed
The
off.
surprise was like how you did it. Like it was more like
Yeah.
I knew she was gonna die. It was like, how are you gonna do it? I think my thing is like it didn't add really any tension to me. Like by the time once she died, I was like, oh, okay, the rest of these people are fine. Like I had no doubt in my mind that everybody else was gonna come out. It would have been more surprising if like somebody else died. If anyone else,
Yes.
Well, to be fair, everyone already knew everyone else was gonna live because they got announced for Doomsday because they were dumb.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah,
more insult to injury right there, Austin. Like for God's sakes, even the bad guy was announced for the next Avengers film. Everybody in this cast was announced except Taskmaster.
Yeah, it was more like even by the marketing alone. I guess it would have been. I never like had a thought that like Taskmaster was going to live anyway. So it was like more like if it was like if Red Guardian actually died, I would be like, oh shit, oh you know what I mean? Like oh yeah, like so. It was just like so it didn't really. It was
Red Guardian died. I would thought it would have been expected. This big ass buffoon dude.
It would have been like a shit. That could have been an emotional moment. You know what I mean? Like I'll be like, oh my god, is he gonna die? You know, I know. I guess it would have been more like I expect that he would die in a movie like this, but I'm not sure if he's going to. That's what I'm saying. It would have been up in the air for me. But like at this point, like I already kind of figured Taskmaster was gonna go.
Another thing I kind of feel like they had to have a reason for killing her off was you know how I made previous comments about John Walker's situation, right? Like you're in a team with 3 super soldiers and 3 shield wielders, right? You notice that even with Red Guardian, they didn't give him a shield. I mean, the only other person who was a shield wielder was Taskmaster. So what do? You immediately kill her off so that John is the one and only person here who is the shield wielder.
Other than Red Guardian, did Red Guardian have a shield? Did he not have a shield?
Not in this movie. No.
Oh, okay. I almost forgot.
So,
yes.
So yeah, she was a disposable character in this film. So likely audience, like this is a Mandarin situation where it's easier just to say that there's a real Taskmaster somewhere out there as opposed to trying to salvage what they did with the quote unquote twist.
I guess the only thing it does help is it helps John just break out of his like, oh, no way she's gonna kill me thing. I think it helps go faster.
Yeah.
I guess I don't really.
I even found that funny. Like you would think Yelena would be heartbroken at this, given how much her sister went out of her way to rescue Taskmaster. Like what lives on from my sister is through you, Antonia. But no, she really wasn't affected at all. Really.
To be fair, it's the same one who's gonna go kill her sister's best friend. So.
I do like Yelena's reasoning at least. She's like, well, she kept doing this life anyway, and people get killed, so that's what it is.
Yeah. Deadpool 4, please give us the Taskmaster we've all been wanting. So just hoping for that. So yeah. Let's see. Anything else on this character? Let's see. She only needed one shot, quote unquote. She got incinerated. No corpses left behind. Audience.
Listen, that
She's
woman.
she's as dead as you could possibly be. Audience. So,
Her shield should still be there.
Yeah, that's right. We can make her. We can recreate her DNA from her shield. We can get
it's-
Miles Warren to do it in
but-
the next Spider-Man movie.
but dude,
Yeah.
that's not her shield. Is not of any unique alloy. You know that, right?
Well, it's okay, but like maybe like a strand of her hair is on the shield, and then Miles
Ah.
Warren gets it in the Clone Saga. Okay, we just the Clone Saga.
Oh. No. What if they used that hair sample to actually clone Antonia, but instead they decided to gender bend the female character
There you
to
go.
a male.
I only
Like,
had enough to make
wow.
a man. I only had enough to make a man chromosome. Okay?
Yeah.
Also think they killed her off because don't forget they introduced Taskmaster's daughter in that Spider-Man show, and they saw people
Oh.
actually respond positively to
Yeah.
Finesse compared to
Yeah.
like what they did with her.
Oh man, again, audience, we've had so many characters. You don't really have an excuse for why you're going to make a situation of like either gender bending or race changing character when someone of that category is already in that mythos. You know, Taskmaster situation. He had the daughter Finesse. You could have used her and had that be a wink saying like, okay, the real Tony Masters is still out there, but. Again,
How
they
you
just
feel
want to
about
stunt
them?
cast.
How
You
you
know?
feel about them giving her a whole new costume just to die?
I was happy in the beginning when I saw that because like that's another thing I really hate about the Black Widow movie audience. It was clear as day that was a man in that suit. 95% of that screen time of Taskmaster. You know, so even the writers couldn't believe that was actually a woman in that suit. Here, I was at least thankful that they decided to make the suit accommodating to the actress. Dang, she just felt like a miniature version of Taskmaster. Like, yeah, no. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, in my opinion, audience. So, yeah. But yeah, you guys have any final thoughts before we talk about Taskmaster for the last time and end it all?
Nah, we're good.
Yeah, you good. Tony
Top 5
Masters
MCU
for the
deaths.
win. What was that, Jake?
Top 5 MCU deaths easily.
Oh yeah. Okay, so all right then. Let's move on to the next one.
Underused, but I don't really care. It's like I guess I never really. It was more
Well,
I want to say he was
you gotta-
underused. To be honest, I think he came in at the perfect time. He tried to
pretty much.
do things the right way, and then when that failed, he went in to get the dirty work himself.
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
I used the wrong word. Maybe it's like it's because we got so much of Bucky. I didn't mind how little he had.
Like Jake, we got to look at it this way, right? He was really the one character that's. Would you consider him an A-list character, guys?
Yeah,
compared to this squad, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, he's pretty much the only A-list character in this lineup. So it does more so feel like it was a mandate from the studios above who looked at the roster and like, okay, yeah, it's great that you guys want to make a movie about like, U.S. Agent Yelena, Taskmaster, Red Guardian, that stuff. But yeah, we kind of need household names, at least one household name to be on this team to get an audience yammering, So yeah, and came Bucky audience.
no. Bucky was confirmed way before most of these other people were. He was confirmed back when it was just ghosts of Bucky on the team.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
I think the thing that changed is just how he was used because the way the MCU changed so much since then.
Yeah.
Like, cause think about this man, the mass murderer, the Winter Soldier, somehow was a senator for New York for a while.
Right.
I
Which I think
don't
is
know how
weird.
that's
I was
possible.
like, I don't think he would get the votes.
I
would be
get
more-
if he somehow got appealed for all those murders that he was micro and stuff, sure, but I would needed a whole scene of Sam, Steve, whoever, like giving him that job because there's no way he got it by himself.
Right.
I mean, if I were to learn like a potential person in office has literally decades of brainwashing going under them from another country, yeah, I would definitely be hesitant to be putting this guy in office, you know?
I'm gonna say his political opponent must have been dog shit. Because if you mean to tell me, I'm gonna assume like Bucky's a Democrat. If you tell me that the Republican candidate didn't smear Bucky's name through the mud for the whole
Oh,
cycle with the ammunition they'd have,
yeah,
is
To,
yeah,
to
insane.
be to
exactly.
be fair, Bucky also has brought back half the universe under his belt too.
That's right. Yeah, that's true. But he's the hero of Endgame.
Yeah. You don't think his political rival will be saying, "Yeah, yeah, it seems like Bucky is off chummy with the Wakandans." You know, I mean, maybe it might be some secrets or whatnot to
Well,
that.
to be fair, that might be
Yeah.
a plus for him though. But like, wait, if you tell me with them, we might be able to get some our brain by this deal.
Oh dang, didn't give it that way, but yeah, that's true. So damn, Bucky must have had one hell of a good PR team to win this electoral seat audience. You
Yeah,
know,
but it was only for a term. It was like not even a full term. It's like,
I mean,
Yeah, no,
dude,
that was
speaking
I was
of
confused because based on what we saw, he was still senator. So I don't know why she said that.
right. I
yeah,
was like, what?
speaking of that though, like, okay, this might be jumping a little bit towards the end for the end credit scene, but like, is it allowed for Bucky to be both a congressman and an active
Is
Avenger?
he a congressman? I'm confused. Wait, what would she
No,
say?
yeah,
He's
no, he is a
no,
congressman. I think that dialogue was messed up because what we saw from Bucky, the two scenes with the black dude, he was still in the Senate.
yeah,
Okay.
So
he's some place in the Oval Office. Let's just put it that way. You know,
I
he's in
think she
some Senate.
assumed because he was doing this. Honestly, when he got exposed and stuff, he would have got fired, I guess.
Oh, okay.
But now that he's like an Avenger,
Again, yeah.
there technically should be nothing stopping him from doing both jobs, as long as like being an Avenger doesn't get in the way when it comes to votes.
I feel like there'll be a lot of stuff getting away, Georgia. I don't
Yeah,
think Donald Trump could go like fight in another country to go get shit back like himself. You
Well,
know what I mean?
yeah, but Donald Trump's the
exactly.
president, not a Senate.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I
a
mean,
senator would
I
have the
mean,
same. You would have the same
Austin,
legal
Austin,
limitations as you would here.
Austin. We had the same discussion when it came to Luke Cage. Now that he's mayor, like, wait, is he allowed to go out and patrol the streets of New York even though he's mayor right
No,
now?
no, that's because they had the dumbass rule about vigilantism that he can't do that though.
No,
As
I mean
long
even before that rule. Like, wait, is that a
No,
final
that
rule?
rule that wasn't before that rule. He was mayor after that rule happened. He was mayor after Kingpin.
as long
Kingpin
I
the
guess
one
Okay,
who made that rule.
but let's say without the rule, right? Like, wait, dude, does that make
Without
sense
the
for you
rule,
to
he
be
would have
doing
been
that
fine.
rule?
There was nothing stopping Kingpin from fighting in the streets.
Eh,
as long
well,
as
he
they're
doesn't
not
do
doing things like going to get the Tesseract in another country, fine. Like I think it was like Loki shows up. Like again, using example. Like
Yeah,
I'm like,
but
oh,
you still do that. He just can't show his face.
no, he has to wear like a costume. He has to be legally distinct. He has to be. That's not Bucky. That's the Winter Guardian. There you go.
That's clearly the Summer Soldier.
The Summer Soldier. Yeah, there you go.
Gotcha. But yeah, audience, I know some people might be upset that we didn't get a lot more Winter Soldier content in this movie, but to that I'll say we have like literally over a decade of Winter Soldier content. You know, I'm okay with him getting less screen
To,
time compared to the other characters here who kind of needed screen time since there's
to
since they're
be
still
fair, bro,
relatively fresh characters.
out of all the stuff he done did in the last since the Winter Soldier, this is probably the most of Winter Soldier he felt in a long time. He went after those cars.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it also helps the fact that he brought in the same gun that shoots landmines. So yeah, that's
Yeah, I
true.
was saying, ever since Bucky has not moved like the Winter Soldier since Civil War. This was probably the first time he felt like that. So
Yeah,
I was happy with just that little emotion he had.
yeah. You know.
I think.
So
Yeah, it's like I think I had enough of Bucky. Like after Falcon and Winter Soldier, he's an actualized character. There's nothing really more for him to grow from. I mean, even like when he says like even when they do the Void Room thing where he comes in, he's like, yeah, my history is pretty spotless, so I'm fine. Like I was like, yeah, I don't need to see any of that. Like I've seen this
yeah.
like 6 movies. You're good with that, yeah.
And remember,
To
audience, we
be fair,
already had a
the
whole
whole
show.
point of his show was he made peace with all the people he hurt.
Yeah,
So he
Yeah.
probably didn't even have to do anything, to be honest. He probably walked in the empty room and kept going.
Yeah.
True. So, yeah, let's see. Anything else to dive into Bucky while we're still on him?
Can we talk about no, I guess we'll save it to the end. Never mind. We'll save it to the end.
Okay.
What is Bucky's policy platform? What is he
His
voting?
policy is get Valentina out of power.
Oh, okay. All right.
His policy is no tariffs on Wakandan goods, I guess, or something. Maybe I don't know. Okay. Okay. All right. So, all right. I think we should move on, guys.
All right,
we're talking about the
I'll
last
talk
Super
about-
Soldier.
I was pleasantly surprised. I thought he was going to be a joke the whole film, but I feel like most of the jokes were well placed.
Yeah.
I think it helped that he missed a big chunk of the beginning of the film. So by the time he came in, you needed that comedy, the comedy man.
Yeah.
He was also the one just pushing them to do something. So it also helped, I guess.
There's a brand of Red Guardian that Black Widow 1 did that I really do appreciate rewatching. Like I rewatched all his scenes, and like this dude has like a lot of
Oh my god, bro.
Yeah. And so like when I was looking at and then because What If, and I think I don't know, did he make another appearance? I think it was just What If he only made an appearance.
What if completely ruined the whole character of Red
and
Guardian.
I was like, this guy's fucking ass. So I was kind of worried about this one, but like, like pleasantly surprised that he had the heart. He had the heart that I expected. Like his humor comes from a very specific place that's tied to his character, so you can still like feel bad for him, but also understand where he is. That he's goofy.
I mean, audience. I said before, right?
Just like a U.S. agent, this dude wanted to be the hero like Steve, for his country, and he was denied. So watching him like grasp it as another chance to rise up, be hero was kind of funny.
Yeah. Also, when he screamed, "Yeah!" that shit was funny. That should kill me. Look up the chance.
Wait, you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. As I said before, right? You're either going to laugh at Red Guardian or you're going to get annoyed by Red Guardian this film. For me, I more so tolerated Red Guardian because, again, that What If episode completely ruined my whole viewing of this character from here on forth. But
how did you like the fact that was a future where he actually became an Avenger? Huh? That was a vision to the future.
That didn't make any sense, dude. I was like even looking at comments, right? Okay, how is it in that future Tony Stark went on to become Iron Man, even though his dad is still alive? You never think of stuff like that, right?
No. To be fair, he needs to be Iron Man. He needs to be an asshole.
Okay, just
because remember they kept finding ways for some reason for his dad to be selling to be Iron Man for some reason. It's like what? Yeah. That makes less sense to me.
I mean, wait! For God's sakes! Now that in Red Guardian's What If universe, Obadiah Stane was killed, so there wouldn't really be any reason for to push Tony to make it an armor. Then,
yeah, no.
I like the idea that I like the idea that the actual Ten Rings man still for some reason has beef with Tony.
It doesn't help that we already had a What If Iron Man didn't go through that experience and he just made drones instead of being in the body himself because he didn't see any reason to it. So
yeah, pretty much.
Wait, what?
And What If Killmonger saved Tony Stark instead of being Iron Man himself, he made drones instead. That I think are character powered because he didn't see any reason for him to be in the suit.
We're thinking way too much about this because clearly the writers preferred gag over what makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
Again, audience, 2 days ago I went back to watch like that Black Widow scene, like that Black Widow movie. I love the opening with Red Guardian. Like he was very much a serious character. He was able to retrieve that disc he got in Ohio for being burned because apparently that was the last copy that was left intact. Like he was very competent. He was very serious. He was efficient. But then you go look in What If, like no, this dude.
Oh wait! Don't forget he went to jail for 40 years after that. Okay, it wasn't just the What If.
after that.
Yeah. No,
Austin,
like
you
look,
know?
it's acceptable that he's like, you know, the way he is after the fact. It's more like just like there was like what if was like while he was Red Guardian still active in service, he was a goofy ass motherfucker. It's like
Yeah,
no,
that
I
was
don't
his
think that's
prime, Austin. And plus,
I know. I'm
even
gonna say, so why are y'all using that to judge his character based instead of the actual timeline movie stuff?
Oh no, we're just saying
because
that's why when we came into it, we were kind of worried. Like that's what we're
Yeah.
saying that what if we were worried about the character moving forward because we weren't sure because he only had the one appearance, right? I think you brought this up too. He's only appeared once. I'm like, yeah, no, I agree. But it's like, it was like this is the first time we've seen him since, and it seemed like they didn't understand what made him work before.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so like, but you know, pleasant surprise that in this movie they do like I guess it is the same right director, so
Yeah,
that is a plus
I
too.
mean, there were only like 2 jokes that kind of like really annoyed me with Red Guardian in this. The first joke was the one where, damn, now I lost it in my train of
It better
thought.
not be the one about the Wheaties box, bro.
No. Oh, now I remember. It was, you know, when they went into Bob's mind and everybody's like trying to deflect all the incoming like objects that are just flying around. And then Red Guardian, he just rips a pillow because he's like, okay, everybody's breaking stuff, so I'll just break a pillow.
That's fair.
Come on, dude. And yeah, yes, of course, as Austin mentioned, yes, it's that weenie box, that mid-credit scene. I'm like, oh boy.
No, that's
No,
fine.
but that was literally a build up on a joke something he already said. That's literally what he wanted to do.
Also, it's in character for him based off Black Widow.
Yeah.
So, that's fine.
He wanted to be the heroes of the Wheaties box. He got that, and now he's trying to sell it, bro. He tired of being poor.
Yeah. Is it? I mean, think about it this way, Cryptid. He wants to be well recognized, and he's in a store. There's a woman there, seeing on the front of the box. He's like, "Well, recognize me." You know, it's in his character.
Jake, I better not be seeing anybody say like Red Guardian is the greatest Russian hero ever. When, dude, you left your country and now are on the team of Americans, dude.
That is
his country betrayed him and threw him in jail for 40 years, and they don't really owe him anything.
Right, but he isn't the greatest Russian hero anymore. He's an American. He's one of us.
He's an American, yeah. Like, oh, dude, you know.
Yeah, bro. He's the greatest American soldier.
There you go.
Yeah, the audience, you know how embarrassing that will have to be if you're telling me your country's Captain America leaves your country and joins another country's team.
That's more your country's fault, though. That's your country's dumbass fault.
Didn't you love when they had Captain America go against America in the Vietnam War?
There you go.
Let's see. No, he didn't go up against America in the Vietnam War.
He actively went and helped Vietnam in the war.
No.
Against America.
He was helping prevent civilian casualties. Like, it didn't matter if they were from the Viet Cong side or the American side. He just wanted to make sure that civilians weren't caught in crossfire of the war. That's what I remembered.
The American way. But yeah, I think and also standout scene. Again, it's Yelena and his scene where it's like, "Daddy, I'm so alone," and then like, you know, he's comforting her. Which again, that was like the best part of Black Widow too. There's like the scene. I think it's Yelena.
Yeah.
But one of them is it's Yelena because she's upset about the family thing, and she goes. Yeah, and she goes. I actually really like that scene too. I think that's like one of his.
I hated that
scene. It's when he can't properly comfort her because he's too obsessed with the past, but he really is trying. I thought that was like a really good scene too. But I do like in this time when Yelena does break down, he is capable of just fully being in the moment. He's like, I don't even care about it anymore. Like, I just want you to be okay. And I thought that was like good character development for him since Black Widow.
I thought you were talking about that scene where she was like, "Oh, the family was real to me." I'm like, no, I hated that scene.
Yeah, no. And I also liked that we did get a scene, and this again, it's another good for him, and that's why he's one of the characters I don't need 10% more of because he gets everything he needs to get. You do get a scene where Yelena, quote unquote, dies, and he just breaks the fuck down. Like his whole character breaks just for that moment as well. And I think those are like 2 scenes where I'm like, okay, like this is I like everything about this character. He checks off all the boxes. And it doesn't need to be everybody doesn't need to be emotional crying, by the way. I don't need all that. I'm just saying, like, this is too
late.
I get all the emotion, all the emotional range out of the character. The character's fully well-rounded. His arc is completed, and to be fair, he kind of cheats because his arc started in Black Widow anyway, so it's kind of a cheat. But either way, I did get everything I need out of him. So But yeah, I did like. I love Red Guardian in this movie. I think now that I think about it more, I think he's the character I actually am interested in. If he came back, I'd be like, oh yeah, what's he doing now? So yeah.
I can't stand this man.
Well, yeah. Red Guardian's a better character than Yelena. That's just how we're gonna have to live.
Okay. So, audience here, we have one person here who was amused by Red Guardian. Another person who was annoyed by Red Guardian, and one person here who actually just tolerated Red Guardian. Huh.
No, I enjoy Red Guardian. I mean, I hate takes opinion.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. But all right then. Any final thoughts before we move on?
No.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next character. Go.
This character, I would often forget was in the movie sometimes. Like once we got escape the bunker, I would forget she was there.
Yeah, Ghost audience. She was here just to be here, really. Like, she had good effects, but that was pretty much it.
I disagree. I'll say she had just as many scenes as John Walker did.
Yeah, better scenes than John Walker.
Stand out. Nothing standing out.
I mean, her powers were cool. She had like cool, better displays of like her abilities. I think than the other. I also like that we. I don't remember his name. I've seen Ant-Man 2. I've seen Ant-Man 2 in a while. So remind me. But I do like that she did say that like, oh, I only have a minute. I can be invisible before like the ship fizzles out.
No. Her power was just unstable, and then at the end of that movie, they got stabilized a little bit, but we don't know if they got fixed or not because the whole thing was. Remember when Ant-Man was in the quantum realm?
Yeah.
When everyone got snapped, he was there getting particles so they can save her. We don't know if she ever got to him though.
Oh, okay.
Well, they had 10 years to work out the kinks at that point, So if you're telling me Bill Foster didn't hit Janet Van Dyne up about some notes they could trade,
Bill Foster died.
The hill. Is he officially dead?
Yeah.
Because I remember like we were talking about this as a topic audience a couple months ago that some plot leaks happened with some of the characters. With John Walker's case being true that his wife left him with the kid, and in Ghost's topic, apparently she's doing like some gigs for Valentine just so she could get money because apparently Bill gets cancer in this at this time, but that got glossed over apparently. Oh yeah,
they bring it up at all, so I don't know if that's still a plotline at all.
Yeah. And they also say that there was supposed to be a deeper connection between Ghost and Taskmaster, and well, we know what ended up being the final product.
Well, it was deep. She's the reason that Taskmaster's dead. That's pretty deep.
But
she got deep in her mind, is what you're telling me, Jake.
I'm about to say
she got inside her head.
Yeah, but also, what'd you like?
She killed Taskmaster. She helped him get out this facility, and then I want to say she has two more moments. Like she has a moment in the truck, I remember. And then later on, she gets another good moment before they get to like the Sentry fight. The problem is, like her motivations has nothing to do with anyone else's. She didn't really want to be a hero ever to begin with. Her whole thing was that she wanted to stop being used by people.
Yeah, that might be the problem. I think it might just be a lack of motivation from her character because I just remember just like not thinking much about. I was like, what does she do? I mean, like I know she's the pivotal reason they got out of the situations they were in. I get that. It was like just like for the story, I was just kind of like, other than that, like, what did she do emotionally?
She was here to display her powers, right? I mean, she was really the only person in this team that had any powers, So, visually, I mean.
And to be fair, the two other times where she would have like did something, the enemy had some type of sound thing that's touched off her powers,
right? Which stopped her from being too overpowered. Situation. So
there you go.
Maybe 20% from her. I don't know. 20% character. I think Allison. I thought Allison hit the nail on the head. I wasn't even thinking about it, but I think it's just that she doesn't have a motivation that I think was really gripping me.
Yeah, like she didn't regret the same sense everyone else regretted. She regretted hurting Bill Foster at the end of that movie, but that didn't get brought up here.
Right.
We don't even know like can't get them actually saved or not, or how her powers work. Are they still unstable? They look more stable, I guess. So
And now that I think about it, Bob never even did the touch. He never touched her, and we never got to even get a recap of like, or like we did with John and Yelena either.
That sounds
Right?
like something
Like, yeah.
that would have been in deleted scenes, Jake. You know, so
Yeah. If anyone needed a void room, it would have been her for sure.
yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, there's only so much.
But by the way, she's the. I think walking away from the movie, she's the reason I'm actually. She's the real reason I'm glad they killed Taskmaster off early because she was like already in the back. I don't know what they would have done with Taskmaster. Like if they kept Taskmaster longer than they did, I don't know how they would have done anything with her. Like if we're talking about like
Jake, if she didn't kill Taskmaster, dude, she would have killed John Walker, and you know how I would have felt about that.
I don't think they would have killed John Walker.
No. I feel like
I would have walked
if he
out.
survived, if Taskmaster survived, I just feel like they would have did like the cliche infighting bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because keep in mind, Jake. Keep in mind, Austin. Right at that point, John Walker was too focused on trying to kill Yelena, and he was being tased, this and that. He didn't see Taskmaster walking in back of him with a sword. You know, dude, I would have walked away from that theater if that's how John Walker went out. You know, like
one of those characters where he's fine. I think even with Falcon and Winter Soldier, like people were mad at him just because of the Captain America thing, but like most people, I think online like his character enough that he would have been fine regardless. I think Taskmaster was just so universally hated; she was destined to die at some point.
Yeah, that's what I'm also trying to say, Jake. You know, like you have a character who was universally hated from the get-go, and then you have somebody who John Walker, where say what you want about him, he is an interesting character to work with.
Yeah, no, he's not. Yeah,
even if you hate him, audience, Right. So to give John Walker the ungraceful death instead of Taskmaster, yeah.
I don't think he was ever really in any danger of that, but
yeah. But yeah, going back to Ghost. Yeah, she was here, audience. Yeah. I don't really know what else to say about her. So.
Oh yeah, she said something nice about her. You like her hair? You like her new suit? Something.
I should. You know what? I would have liked if she tried the. I remember Iron Man Armored Adventures when Ghost did the thing to Iron Man where you put his hand through his stomach. I was like, yeah, if you don't do the thing I want, I'm gonna kill you. I wish she would have tried that on Central or something. If she did,
I also thought she did, bro. And they did block that shit.
Audience. Oh yeah, that's also one thing I found funny when it came to the designs of the group. Right. Between Ghost and Taskmaster. Okay, so how come you all thought it was a good idea to have these two female characters wearing an all dark suit with a white head, a white mask? Like,
because I only want you to look at my eyes.
To be fair, for Ava, at least it made more sense. She already had the white mask, so getting the all black suit when she's doing these more stealth missions, I guess it's fine. Taskmaster changing her whole outfit just to kill her was crazy though.
Yeah, I know. So, anything good to say about a Ghost from my part? Again, she was just here, audience. Yeah. That was just my standpoint. So, yeah. All right, then. I guess we probably should move on. So,
By the way, everybody's saying that. Oh, Stephen Yeun would have been great casting. Listen, you don't know that. All right, I don't say that Bob. I don't say this dude isn't great.
Only saying that because of Invincible, bro. And this would not be entertaining to see Chinese century.
Audience, there's a difference between voice acting and actual on-screen acting. And even though Stephen Yeun had the voice of Invincible, he would not have been able to pull off the body of Sentry here.
Well,
as a matter of fact. But I actually have a picture of what he would look like. Apparently, there was concept art.
They did. Yeah, they did the concept art. Yeah.
Like, I don't see Sentry here.
I think people don't see it because we didn't get it, which is fine. By the way, there's nothing against this current actor. I have nothing but praise for this guy. I'm just saying, like, everyone keeps saying, like, I can't imagine another version. Like, yeah, of course you can't. You didn't see another version.
But Jake, even if we did get him, I wouldn't have saw him as Sentry. Same way I don't see Pedro as Reed, but I'll accept Pedro as Reed. I can accept it, but I don't see him as Reed.
That's fair.
He doesn't look like Reed.
And Jake, here's the other caveat to that. Like with this actor, I mean, that was the best possible thing that could have happened. Like dude, this feels like Sentry ripped right out of the comics.
Oh no, that's right. No, like yeah,
Both character wise and how he looks. Like,
yeah, I have nothing but praise for this version of Sentry. I just like everybody's just like Steven, you would have been ass. I'm like, you don't know that. Don't say that.
Nah, like,
that's all my issue.
I don't see him as
based
having
on the
body
character
of
he
a
usually
Superman.
played in live action. I don't think he could have pulled off the dichology of Sentry.
Yeah,
okay. Maybe.
Audience, like, I just see that as like trying to cast someone like Jesse Eisenberg playing a version of Superman. Like, like just you can't build a body for that,
The wreck keeps coming.
Exactly.
But let's get into the meat riding a Sentry, okay? Because this guy does such a good time. He does a good job.
Dude, I was surprised that they kept the drug addict part of him. They even literally mentioned meth. I'm like, whoa, huh? They slipped that in multiple times, audience. So
yeah.
Look, you can mention it, you just can't do it, okay, Deadpool?
Okay.
Needless to say, this is one of the well-rounded characters. I don't really have anything I would really add for him. I think his character arc comes to a complete start. He starts as just an empty vessel. He's not really sure how he fits into this story. I like how we know, because essentially we know he's about to pop off, but I like the slow build up to learning what Sentry is. I think when I watched the movie with Tony even brought up I guess this dude would have to be super strong if he's doing that whole the whole leg climbing scene, like the tunnel scene where they're going up the tunnel. I guess he would have to have some form of super strength if he could climb up there with these super soldiers. I was like,
Jake, look at it this way, man. If you cause the whole team to fall, man, you're gonna have to answer to John for that.
That's true. That is true.
Son of a. I'm gonna make sure you never use those legs again.
I have with John, though, that does bring up a problem I had with John. So in the scene where Sentry gets unleashed and stuff, you see John find where Bob came out of. And you see he's the first person to see the Sentry papers. But he's still pushing John, he's pushing Bob's buttons for some reason at that point.
But the thing is, he's not aware that Bob is a success, Like, for God's sake, even Yelena was
him, though.
Yeah, you have paperwork saying that they were experimenting on countless bodies, countless candidates. You don't know if any of them are going to be successful.
Yeah, but I wouldn't take any chances on what I'm saying.
Yeah, but also, Austin, you have to also remember everything that was in that room was supposed to be incinerated, which included Bob's body. So clearly, it kind of seemed like Bob was expendable.
Yeah. I do like how I do like the. I think my only, and this is only because I'm not really entirely sure how Sentry's character works. When he goes from Bob to Sentry, I'm more like, how did I feel like that was a bit of is this a different personality? Like what? It was like
he has some mental issues going on in this audience,
Right, and I do.
But I liked it because it builds up what him and Yelena was talking about earlier, though. Like the chance, because they were telling him all this stuff about, because they did bring up being heroes and all the other stuff and the whole thing. Like, oh, you supposed to be Captain America and all the other things that happened. This dude sacrificed himself, woke up, and was told that the people he sacrificed himself for were the bad guys. And that's time to really save the world. You have the power to. You're a god, basically.
Yeah.
And it just quickly kind of got to his head, in my opinion.
Oh well, I know I did like that line where he's like, well, it's like, well, what do you mean by you're a god? I'm like, well, you said I'm stronger than all the Avengers, and there's a god on that team. So,
one god.
I'm God, right?
I just like how it all went to his head. Yeah, dude, why do I have to take orders from you, Val? I mean, come on, what are you gonna do?
I did like how Val didn't do the whole thing, oh no, how could you? She's like, God damn it. It's just come on.
Oh my god. And knowing her, man, she would have tried finding a way to resolve her of all this chaos that she started, She would tell me, she probably would have been telling the congressman, this whole Project Sentry thing, that was John Walker who did it. Yeah, he was trying to make himself a better super soldier serum. So yeah.
Well, there you go.
Whatever.
But I do like I do like Bob. I think I guess they were trying to make it from being too dark. I do kind of wish we did. I mean, we need to see a little bit more of the abuse. That's just wish for. We don't need it. We don't need it to be fair.
Dude,
But
I
just kind of want to see a little bit of it. But
I like the scene. I like the scene where John bitch slapped his dad when they were in his mind.
Oh yeah, that was Someone brought up that. Probably, it was probably like
audience,
John protecting a baby.
Audience. John bitch slapped his abusive dad with his shield. Man, like damn.
Yeah.
That was cool.
I did. I mean, obviously, there's a scene that where he just kind of beats up like the Thunderbolts, and that was like really fun.
Yeah.
I like you doing injustice moves and all that too. Cryptic. By the way, we told you this would happen. We told you this would happen, and you kept saying it would. We said that everybody was gonna get humbled in that scene. Okay.
What?
And sure enough, everyone from the biggest losers to even Bucky Barnes got the most humiliating beatdowns in the whole MCU history. Okay. No one's been
wow. Bucky got his arm disconnected and then reconnected 5 minutes later, right?
No. You get the part where this man posted up, ran full sprint, did a 3-piece combo, and then we're like, oh. Like, I ain't shit. And they got his ass beat. Like, come on, like, bro. I'm just,
yeah, I'm about to say, you ain't gonna talk about him dodging a gun point blank and uppercutting Bucky into the fucking ceiling.
Yeah. Okay, he was definitely going injustice mode in this audience. But now I really would have liked the scene where, like, yeah, he actually does break the vibranium arm of Bucky Barnes, to show how powerful this is.
I like that he didn't. And here's why. The reason why he did, because he said, I don't want to hurt these people. And he knew Bucky needs that arm. He's like, I'm not going to destroy this man. Like, it doesn't hurt me. Like, what do I need to destroy it? It's like, I like that he didn't do it. Like, he's like, here you go.
Are you talking about punching Red Guardian 40 feet out the window and just telekinesis him back?
Yeah. Well, he can take it.
Yeah. So, yeah, audience, like, realistically, like when we learned that Century was going to be the bad guy for this team, like we have to play this by the rules of there's no logical way that this team would ever score an actual win against a god, So of course there had to be a MacGuffin in this film for them to beat him mentally. Which how do you guys feel about
when
that?
people say it like that? Beating someone mentally is still a legit win. You don't have to overpower someone to beat them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I stuck this picture in. This is the Void. I really like this art.
He's full on black, man. Wow.
I like the Void's design because
so Jake Austin. So you're telling me Sentry is stealing the gimmick from Josiah X in the comics?
I guess so.
Yeah.
I think I like the Void because I like I didn't want to bring up this scene. This scene bothered me, and it happens for a second, but it leads to a very funny scene that I really love. The scene where the Thunderbolts save the day, like they save the town, everyone stops and claps for them. I'm like, what the fuck y'all clapping for? The villain's still.
No. Jake. All the people saw was just a shadowy figure with a cape, causing all this blackness to happen. They aren't aware that Bob's the one.
He's not talking about the post fight. He's talking about like when Red Guardian saved a little girl and stuff around that time.
Yeah. They're like they saved like a city block of people. And then everyone stops.
When they lift up the rubble and stuff, everyone starts clapping, and then they all get turned to shadows.
Right? It's like, why are y'all clapping? He's right there. But it did lead to a funny scene where the little girl died. I'm sorry, it was funny.
Just like how everybody was becoming black's ink smudges, like as he was using his power.
It was another troll moment to me because it was like the scene I expect them to save the little girl runs through her mom. I was like, oh, here we go, the fucking cliche. Then she just dies. I was like, well, she quote unquote dies. I was like, oh. So it was a good little scene. So
gotcha. So yeah, we are getting Bob later on in the Avengers audience, and well, let's bring this up. Like Bob, Sentry is known for a particular gruesome scene in the comics. So. Are you guys prepared to see that scene be done to him, or what?
It's most likely not going to happen.
Yeah,
I think what's gonna happen is we're gonna
it won't happen because even Donnie Cates, who did that thing, said, "Oh, I didn't really know a lot about Sentry when I wrote it."
What? No way.
Yeah, look it up. He
think
apologized for that because he wasn't that knowledgeable about Sentry. You got to remember, even before he did that, Sentry just fused with the Void to become red and black, like Master Sentry, and then suddenly, when that event happened, he was back to being yellow. He didn't know.
Okay,
I think
so
I think
Bob is known for literally ripping Carnage in half in space. He's known for ripping Ares in half. Let's see, and then he's known for getting ripped in half by Noel. So I think that's a pretty consistent thing. He's gonna be ripping somebody, or somebody's gonna be ripping him. It's gonna happen.
I don't think anyone's gonna rip him.
I think what's gonna happen is Avengers Doom Day is gonna happen, and maybe I'm not sure if we're gonna actually have an Avengers like team, but like let's say we do. Let's say like the whole we're dealing with what we have now, and I think it's gonna be like the Thunderbolts are gonna be at some point like, listen, we can't.
You mean the new Avengers?
The new Avengers, whatever sounds good. But right now we're gonna be dealing with the Thunderbolts, new Avengers, whatever. And so at some point they're gonna be like, listen, we hate to do this, but Sentry, you're our only hope. We're gonna throw you where Doom is in that universe. You go deal with him. And Doom is just going to be ready for it. And the cliffhangers are like, "Oh fuck, Sentry's."
Like... No, I think Sentry's going to get him and Thor. I think Sentry's going to get the death of Thor and Hyperion.
Oh, you mean the one where they're like fighting the army and shit like that?
No, when they're the last two left, trying to stop the incursions, and they just let it ride. Quidden knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was an amazing scene, by the way, audience.
I think that's because we keep hearing stuff about how Avengers. They're going to send Thor off one way or another.
Yeah.
I think that's the scene. I think those two are going to get that scene.
Yeah.
Either way, we'll see. I think at some point, either way, I think Sentry's not going to make it. I think it's going to be like we're going to think he can do it, but like he can't.
Yeah.
I think he's going to make it. I think he's going to live. He's going to die.
In order to set up stakes, Austin, for the bad guy, you do have to have one colossal defeat on a power.
Yeah, I don't think it's Sentry. I don't think it'd be the guy you just introduced as strong. I don't think that's impressive. I think it's gonna be Loki.
Then the next person will have to be Captain Marvel at that point.
No, I think it's gonna be Loki.
He was just a guy sitting in a chair right now.
Yeah, but he's gonna come out.
He's the most powerful person in the universe. He can stop time, reverse time. What are you talking about?
Yeah. He's the greatest of us. But but in terms of I guess we'll have to see. But I think as far in terms of how Bob was handled in the transition to the Void stuff and how the Void was a manifestation of depression, I think that was all handled really well. Like I said, I just find the messaging cliche, and honestly, we could be focusing on different aspects of depression at this point. But outside of how it was actually handled in the movie, I think it was handled really well. And I did like, And so we already talked about it ad nauseum about how like the Void rooms could have, maybe they should have, maybe they shouldn't have. I think narratively speaking, they shouldn't have been explored, but it would have been nice if they were. But
I said just make them delete the scenes and then just be like, just watch the movie, delete scenes.
Yeah.
I miss deleted scenes, audience. Back when they used to give these out on DVDs, right? You have a section for deleted scenes. So yeah. All right. Any final thoughts on this before we move on?
Nope.
Okay. Do you guys want to talk about Valentine some more, since it kind of seemed like we already started with her?
Nah.
Okay. No, I'm gonna talk about the ending.
Okay, yeah, we have to talk about the ending. Hope's like, let me bring up the main picture, though. All right, so let's talk about the end credit scene, audience.
No, I'm not even that. I'm not even talking about the end credit scene. I'm talking about literally the ending.
Oh, okay. Go
so ahead. I think with Sam essentially suing and trying to talk about the Avengers thing, I think post Doomsday, we're going to have two sets of Avengers. I think we're going to have the new Avengers and West Coast Avengers.
No, then we're going to have three. Awesome.
The younger, we're not counting the young Avengers. I don't count them. They're not real.
No, if there's going to be a West Coast Avengers, that's going to be given to Kate Bishop's side.
No,
she's the one that's going to be handling that.
No, I think Sam should handle that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have to have one team that's going to stand as the main Avengers, So
Exactly. I don't think putting Sam on just a team as another Captain America stand-in is a good Avengers team. I think he's going to take a team to the West Coast.
it's a possibility.
I think post Doomsday, I think people, honestly, because the way Secret Wars work, whoever dies in Doomsday is going to be brought back one way or another at the end of Secret Wars. Because that's what the reset does. I think the new Avengers team is going to be different, but I don't think you're going to be Sam, Red Guardian, U.S. Agent, and and Bucky. I think Sam should make his own Avengers team on the West Coast to make that a bigger deal. Well, because West Coast Avengers came back in the comics, and you leave Bucky with the Watchtower. And I think U.S. Agent should slowly take over this team.
Yeah, you see, the problem I have with like saying that Sam should lead the West Coast Avengers team is because like West Coast Avengers by design are really the leftover characters that never really that never could hold their own book, which is why that team was formed. So I wouldn't want to give Sam that position of leading a West Coast Avengers team. Have him do the main Avengers team. Have Kate Bishop be the one in charge of the West Coast Avengers team, and have maybe John Walker lead the Dark Avengers team or Secret Avengers, or there's a lot of variations of
And the Thunderbolts was a Zemo team who were actually evil, faking to be good. We don't get what we want all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
I do like how being new Avengers. I do like how kind of like in the theme of the old Avengers versus the new Avengers in the comics. It's like you have the team of, like the strong people, like the gods and all that stuff. Then we get like the team where it's like the more like grounded protagonist.
Oh, I think Sam taking the actual main Avengers, whatever ends up being the main Avengers team, over to the West Coast, and then you do Kate Bishop's team more as like the Young Justice team, how they did like the undercover op stuff.
Yeah,
I think that would be a little bit more interesting. I think Sam, the main Avenger, the main leader of the team, taking over the West Coast and probably making the Avengers Mansion and all the other stuff from the comics can do a lot, especially, and it also changes the scenery, so we're not stuck in New York every fucking film.
Is it Kate's team or is it Kamala's team? I thought she was making the team.
There's Kamala's team, but it doesn't matter, bro.
No, okay.
Kate needs to be the.
Yeah, I was like, Kate's the oldest
team. Yeah,
I won't trust Kamala to lead this team.
Well, she can learn from the younger generation. Okay.
Yeah. Damn, it's amazing you're Jake. You know how weird it is that you're saying that like Kamala needs to learn. Kate needs to learn from a younger generation when she's supposed to be the leader of a team literally called Young Avengers.
That's a problem because by the time we get back to Kate, she's gonna be like 24.
There you go. Well, she's still young. That's still young. Till your 30s.
No, my point is like, Kamala is gonna be like 18.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Riri's supposed to be like around the same age too. Like everybody else is gonna be like 4 years younger than her at least.
Yeah. Let's see, Tim. What else do I want to say? Oh, there's something else I want to talk about, like with that end credit scene, right? I'm mad that John Walker's shield is still bent the way it is.
I liked it though because that implies that when he gets his new shield, it's gonna be in the movie. It's not something like, well, here you go at the end of the movie moment. But that means it's gonna be a moment, like an actual moment in the next one.
What is his shield made of? That in 14 months they couldn't get like the 3 super soldiers on the team to bend it back.
That's what I wanted to bring up. Okay, Austin, if this was like a day after
and not as strong
the team was formed, but just Austin, like if this was like a day after like that team was formed, right? Okay, I can understand John Walker's shield still being the way it is, but you're talking a full year past. This team has still been active, and John is still carrying the dented ass shield. What?
I'm fine with that. If he's making the use of it and using it, that's kind of cooler than just getting a whole brand new.
I would like to see the use for it because
I don't mind him having the shield that has actual character.
Yeah, I would just like to see the use for it because I'm like, what you mean? Like in 14 months, like obviously he clearly didn't want it to be fixed. But I'm like, because obviously it'll be like Red Guardian and him together could probably
Dude.
bend the shield back, right?
Yeah,
You would
yeah.
think.
I mean, dude, like you have now that you have the backing of Valentina at this point, there really is no excuse why John can't get the adamantium shield at this point.
The
You
excuse
know?
is that he didn't fucking want it. They don't have to be no big reason.
He needs to have
He
that
clearly did not
Utami
want the
scope.
shield fix.
I would want to. Yeah, I need to see what that shield does. Like, why doesn't he want it? That's what I just want to see,
Yeah,
like what
you
he was
can't-
doing.
Dude,
Oh, it's
dude,
better
you
for
can't-
pummeling stuff now.
Dude, you can't throw it. Like you can't bounce back. Like it can't fully defend you now. I'm like, what is this? Come on, no.
Yeah, I
Um,
would
No,
like.
he can choke you with it. Hard as fuck.
I would just like to see I would just like to see it in an action sequence, and then maybe it'll be sold to me. Like if I could just see what he was doing with it, I'll be like, okay, all right.
Like that, I think it's more of a situation that they just didn't need to do anything. They're new Avengers, but you really think an Avenger level threat happened after Century? No,
Bro, I just
probably
want like the next day. Doom was like send my
not.
lightweight.
It seems like the biggest things about to happen is what the post credit scene is. I don't think anything happened for them. But like, I actually need a new shield. I think they've been choked.
Dude, another thing I'm just thinking about, and this is just because like I've been trained to think the worst situations with US Asian audience. I think the reason why they just left him have that dented up shield and also decided not to give him a new costume really was maybe John's gonna be one of the sacrificial lambs when it comes to the next Avengers film. Because you know there want to be some
They literally gave
fatalities.
Ash a whole new outfit, and then she still died.
Yeah, well, she had it coming. So next Avengers, you have in these sorts of movies, you do have to have fatalities in order to set up the stakes in the beginning of the film. So
That'll
that's
be
just how it is.
all the more reason to get him a new costume, so you don't think he's going to sacrifice
I
himself.
think you kill Red Guardian before you go. I think as long as Red Guardian's alive, John Walker's fine. I mean, I think you have to kill him first. He's the first sacrificial lamb.
Gotcha.
But,
So okay, there's that. The seeing them adapt the revolutionary suit for Bucky. Y'all know my history with his revolutionary era, but I will say this.
Bro, he don't have the man bun. He's all right.
Yeah. That's why I want to bring up Austin. They didn't give him the man bun, and he didn't give him that cape or whatever. You know, they just gave him the design of the star. So
You're just lucky. To be fair, that Alonso is it still a red star?
it's a red star. Yeah, that's.
Man, I hate
but
this shit.
It's not on his metallic side. It's on his
I still hate it because you're not Russian soldier anymore. Let it shit go.
It's just unfortunate that has to be his logo, Austin. Dude, they've tried changing that logo multiple times.
They should have made it the Thunderbolts thing like he did when he was on Thunderbolts.
Yes. Yeah, I mean that's one point where he changed his shield logo. Dude, he changed his shield the red star to Captain America's shield, right? Then later on he went back to having a star but having it being colored black. But it went back to his usual red star. Then when he joined the Thunderbolts, it got changed to being a lightning bolt. But after that run ended, it went back to being the red star. Like, dude, he ain't losing that logo, man. That's just part of his IP, So,
No, they just the editorial being lazy.
Yeah, it's just too ingrained in his.
It's like the Red Hood situation where it's like, realistically, after all that happened, he would not still you go by this name, but y'all don't know what else to do with him. So you just automatically always go back to Red Hood.
Yeah, pretty much, So, yeah. All right, let's see. The other people's costumes, yeah, I mean they were new, they were stylish.
Did Ghost have a new costume?
She had a new haircut. I only saw the movie once, so I didn't have enough time to look at everybody's costume in detail. Jake,
you seen multiple times? That answer?
Wait, what's up? Oh, I'm sorry. I had to do something. What's up? Ghost?
Did Ghost have a new costume at the end?
I've only seen the post credit scene once. I've seen the movie multiple times now.
I'm going to choke you.
Like I noticed like her costume was just black, like it was before. So she probably has the same costume at that point, So let's see.
Well, let's talk about the first team.
The Fantastic. Did the Fantastic Four lose to Galactus or Doom? You decide.
That's what happened. Dude,
I hate that. I hate that they did that. But all I keep hearing people saying, "Of course they're gonna lose to Galactus." Nigga, Galactus has never beaten them.
Right? No, they're undefeated.
They are factually undefeated against Galactus. That's why I honestly think they beat Galactus, and the incursions happen anyway. I love that they overcome the most impossible odds, and it means nothing.
I want Galactus to show up like, listen, your universe is dying anyway. I just want a snack, bro. Like,
yeah, I'm dying with a full belly in my stomach.
Right. Like this is more for me than it is for anybody.
Look at it this way.
And them leaving. Can you imagine them failing stop the Galactus and he just running away like a bitch?
I'm sorry, but when you have a family that you have to take care of, man, you do what you gotta do, man. You know, if it's a last minute decision,
win the fight. That's why I like think he wins. They win, and then the incursions happen anyway. They're forced to leave. Them losing and having to leave in shame, and then their universe dies off screen regardless. I don't think that's entertaining because they're gonna die anyway because there's incursions.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I guess they've taken their first steps into a new world. I see. So.
Oh yeah. So if you saw this movie in IMAX, by the way, the before the movie started, it would have had a Fantastic Four countdown into the IMAX picture.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to say, like, if you watch the credits to the film, first off, hilarious because after they announce themselves as the new Avengers, they do this whole not my Avengers, like the fucking people.
The public not about to accept these random ass people.
Right? Yeah, no, I like that. But I did like if you Bob. Yeah, if you read the credits though, they spoil the post credit scene before you get there because they have to say like the Fantastic Four theme was also in the movie. You're like, what? Oh, was it? And they're like, oh. Like the time you figure it out, you're like, oh, it's here. So,
gotcha. Yeah. But yeah, man. Damn, we made a whole 2 hours video on this.
Yeah, once we got to an hour, we still weren't halfway down. I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna push it.
Wait. I do want to talk about that scene real quick though. The idea, think about this actual Avengers team. The guy who a lot of people are mixed on because he killed that guy in public. The Winter Soldier who was wanted multiple times on the news, and who's known mass murderer. The Red Guardian who no one knows.
A communist.
This blonde chick.
Yeah, I just want to bring up. Remember, we saw those videos of him, like Stalin and that stuff, didn't we? Like,
oh yeah, this guy who's clearly a Russian spy.
Yeah,
some blonde woman. We have no idea who this is, and then some lady with a white mask. We have no idea who this is. And then nigga Bob. I would trust the team to give me cereal.
Yeah, they got a brand. But yeah.
This is why it's proper to just put a secret in front of the Avengers with this.
I like how Sam fought a Hulk for this, bro. He said he fought a Hulk.
That's what I'm saying.
The world
was told to make the Avengers, and then Valentine just makes Avengers form. That's why I think he's still going to make his own team.
Right. Yeah. No, he definitely is. He definitely not doing it.
Oh,
I think he said no. He says that. He says that's Bucky says he's still making his own Avengers team, and then
no, I heard him saying they're trying to sue for the name.
Yeah, no. Then he says that, and then she said that he's trying to make his own Avengers team, and Yelena says, "Well, what happens if he does? Are we still the Avengers? Like, what happens? Like that's what she was confused."
Gotcha. Oh, I want to mention this before I forget it. Right? How do you guys feel that the asterisk thing? Right? This whole situation, the asterisk, came at the expense of us ever getting a proper adaptation of the Thunderbolts. Because remember, they
for getting a proper adaptation of Thunderbolts.
Well, no. Also, given the fact that they did make a joke out of the origin of the name.
Yeah. I still don't think this stops you from doing that. They just won't be this team. Yeah. If they wanted Zemo to randomly still make the Thunderbolts, he could still just casually do it. They're they're stopping them, and then the reason they call Thunderbolts, you have a different reason for him.
You're not going to knock out that whole reason, hey, this was named. You're using the name of Yelena's old soccer team.
What if the Thunderbolts trilogy?
Because he would have nothing to do with the team. They
What
wouldn't
if,
even know.
what if the Thunderbolts trilogy is just a bunch of people keep calling themselves Thunderbolts? Like it's a different team of people. Everybody calls them Thunderbolts for different reasons.
You know what I'm saying? Like this does not stop another person just being like, oh, they went by Thunderbolts. We'll just use that name.
And then Zero comes out like we're the Thunderbolts. And then the final movie.
You just saw in the comments a guy, 6 guys randomly said we're gonna be the Master of Evil. None of them are Master of Evil. It doesn't fucking matter.
And then Ross comes out of prison. He's like, and we're the Thunderbolts. Okay, don't you understand?
To be fair, they did do that once, so they can't do that.
Oh, okay. Well,
Red Hulk was on the Thunderbolts for a time.
Yep. Probably the most badass version of the Thunderbolts audience.
That was the team with Punisher, Elektra, and them. That was the people. That's why people kept wanting Bullseye to be on the Thunderbolts too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's been there multiple times, so yeah. But
I feel like you could do the Thunderbolts. I like that. You have to do what Jake did. Says so. The second one will be like the second one will be like Zemo and them trying to use that name to get goodwill and be fake heroes post Doomsday.
Ooh,
so it's a whole new like ground for people.
Mm-hmm.
And like, here are your new team, new heroes, the Thunderbolts, and they turn out to be secret villains. And then the third team will be like the Melissa Gold and them, who are actually trying to be heroes.
Okay, there you go. Make it work.
Put the irredeemable Ant-Man on there. See how people feel.
I like the idea that each one of them have an asterisk because each one of them doesn't end up being Thunderbolts in the end. So this one will turn out to be the new Avengers. The other one turned out to be the Master. The second one will turn out to be the Master of Evil, and the third one just turned out to be a bunch of people. Who are you guys? We're just here, bro.
That's true. And go back to Jake's point. Yes, I want me some irredeemable Ant-Man audience. So
Oh yeah, that reminds me. So the Val's assistant was called Mel. People swore up and down it was gonna be Melissa Gold.
Was it?
It wasn't, but we just know her name was Mel, which is the first part of Melissa. M-E-L.
Okay. Yeah, I
so
think
everyone just thought she was a Melissa Gold, and as like a sneak cameo.
Yeah.
And she was, we don't know.
Austin, I think that was just something that the writers added in at the last minute to say, like, look, here's an Easter egg. There you go. To all the people who were saying they wanted the OG Thunderbolts, So yeah, that's our 2 cents. A name change. So yeah.
Let's go Master of Evil.
There you go. So, alrighty then, audience. Wow.
Yeah.
We got through Thunderbolts. Final ranking from 1 to 10?
I think 7.
I'll give it an 8.4 because it.
Well, what the fuck? Why are you like more than Austin? What the fuck happened? Whoa!
I don't have a higher rating than me. I'm going 8.5.
Well, yeah.
Well,
No, you get a higher rating.
Because I'm also kind of factoring in like the last Marvel movie, which was Captain America 4, and I'm like, Captain America 4 was a mid-tier movie. This one was one I could watch repeatedly.
I want everybody to remember this is the movie that Crooked was bitching about. This is what Crooked was bitching and arguing with us about for like months. And this is what he's like. Yeah. This
maybe next time you give us the benefit of doubt.
Yeah.
Hey, I was right about several predictions in the past. I want to bring that up, audience. I was right about the She-Hulk situation. It only took me 5 minutes to know what was going to happen there. I was right about the Jackson Lansing, Colin Kelly Captain America run and that stuff. Hey, I have some wins under my belt. All right,
I just want my reparations. That's all I just want my reparations for the pain I was put through for a month for months. But I guess you could say that in the end, it doesn't matter.
There you go. So
I don't think any of the OST in this movie was that good, though. I ain't gonna lie. I can't remember.
The soundtrack was great, but I don't know. Well, you know it was a good soundtrack though that people underrate. The fucking Fantastic Four 2005 soundtrack, bro. Man,
not really. That was the theme song. I
know, but it was a good theme. All right,
it was not a good soundtrack overall.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But
all right, audience.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, audience, thank you for joining us. We'll see y'all next time.
See you guys tomorrow.